You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Wake up to the world you've been missing. Time to jump out of bed in the morning. No day, no life, now we're living. Can you feel it in the air that you're breathing? Time to show 'em what you're made of. Let's get back on track. Are you ready for a come on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Are you ready now? You're lifting off the ground. Welcome back. No coming down. Can you feel it all around? Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to Super Mega Crash Beyond. It's our 50th episode celebration. Are we doing something big? I don't know. Are we?
I don't know. You decide. Happy Monday. Happy 50.
We're
Look at
just
us. Couple
bringing
of
in the
landmark-
energy for this 50th like it's a big deal. I mean, we were trying to make it a big deal.
We thought about it for weeks on how to make it a big deal. And then we're like, well, maybe we're tapped, guys. I don't know. Maybe we just...
Yeah, look, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of stuff going on. Lace got stuff going on. And, trying to... Because we pitched around a lot of different ideas, something that would be kind of fun or unique or something that would just kind of go ahead. And it just... nothing really came about. So we've decided that today we're just going to bullshit for
We're
90
there like,
minutes.
what's new? What's new?
Yeah, because keep in mind that how we've been structuring this whole pod since we started was talking about whatever.
Mhm.
Not everything is going to be worthy of an entire show.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of the impetus of this episode. We thought, what if we just look at our little ideas, little things that we remember or just kind of pop into our head and say, let's talk about those things. Things that might not fill an episode. So we'll just kind of pitch whatever and see how the conversation goes,
Yeah, no, it's like more, things that the ideas that we had were like, well, that might get us through 20 minutes, but is there really a full, at least an hour's worth? We could make it happen, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could probably do that with any topic for a while, but we also travel off the beaten path a lot too. So to say we ever really stay focused on one topic's probably a little disingenuous to say. Like
true.
there's always like but wait, put a pin in that. But over here, or usually I'm over here and then we have to come back because one of us wandered off. Probably me, mostly. But
Well, we're trying to stay on topic. We're trying to stay focused on something. And, our brains like to travel over into the next county sometimes because it remembered something.
it did.
And it's just like, whoa. Let's go over there for just a minute. Just a minute
It
before I
totally
forget.
connects, right? Like
It connects.
Yeah. It's totally
Otherwise,
part of the combo.
my brain wouldn't have been like, ooh.
Right?
I got it.
They're totally calm things. Our brains totally make a lot of sense. They always do things in order, of course, Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this one topic because absolutely this is not something that's going to fill any time. We could probably be done talking about this in 5 minutes, but I just wanted to bring it up because I had completely forgotten about this. A buddy of mine on Facebook had sent me this video, really dark humor kind of shit, but it was like a interview with, I could be wrong. I feel like it was Jeffrey Dahmer. I could be wrong. And it was about what he did, because if you didn't know, he liked to consume human flesh. So they interspersed it with this dinner ad with him talking about that. And even in the ad, in the interview, he chuckles very uncomfortable, like one of those uncomfortable, like, oh, God. And then it just works into this ad. But the ad was for this product called Chicken Tonight. Do you remember this stuff?
I think so.
I feel like chicken tonight.
Yes,
like chicken tonight. Yeah, and everybody's doing the stupid fucking chicken wing dance.
Yep. Oh, God.
I was like, fucking Chicken Tonight. Oh my God, I forgot about Chicken Tonight. What happened to that
too.
shit?
Oh God, you got to send me this ad now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to
see
see if I can find it. But
you just said dark humor, and I'm like, yes, please. Give.
So, of course, here I'm trying to find it. And, the internet does not help me. Okay, so here it is. Initially launched in 1990. Why does that seem so later than I would have imagined?
Really?
You know what I mean?
Like it was made in the 80s.
Yeah, like it feels like an 80s product.
It does. Well, I mean, 90 is still pretty much in the 80s.
I know.
We still did a lot of like bright colored clothing for a couple of years, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like more of an 80s thing. For some reason in my head.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, it went to... Okay, so it started under Ragu in the 90s.
Which
then
makes
moved
sense.
into the UK under Knorr. And then, as of 2015, it's a standalone... So it's still a thing?
So it's still going on, huh?
Maybe just not around here?
You know what, though? I don't recall ever actively seeking it out. So I don't know. There's lots of things that are probably still going that I have no idea where to buy.
It does look like it was dropped here. It says the American version of the product was met with limited success. However, it's still sold in Australia, New Zealand, the Netherlands, and United Kingdom. So it's still out there, just not here.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. You know what, though? If I find it, I'ma feel like chicken
tonight, like chicken tonight, chicken.
It's like, I don't know if I've ever had it, but that theme song will live in my head forever.
I know.
The day I die, right? Well, and now that I'm reminded of it, of course, you know.
I tell you what, for anybody who has no idea what we're talking about, I'm going to put in an audio clip of the ad so it's stuck in your head.
Ragu introduces Chicken Tonight simmer sauces, and suddenly everybody's saying,
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, chicken tonight.
Choose from 6 new sauces. Each one's made with real vegetables and herbs, so you can make dishes like country French chicken and chicken cacciatore. Just brown the chicken, simmer, and serve.
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight.
New Chicken Tonight simmer sauces from Ragu.
Chicken tonight.
You're welcome. No, I think most people are probably like, yeah, that listen to us. They're like, yeah, I remember Chicken Tonight. I don't think we ever had it, though.
I could not tell you that we did. We may have, and I just don't remember because I didn't really pay much attention to what my
That's
parents...
Fair. Yeah, I just kind of ate whatever they put on there. Yeah.
Well,
I remember Shake and Bake. Like, I know we did that a couple of, and I helped, you know.
And that was very specific. Like, you knew when you had Shake and Bake chicken.
Yeah, yes, you did.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just...
It's like, you know, now that I'm thinking back on it with that too, it's just so much easier to use breadcrumbs and salt or something like that that's going to taste better. Well, I've already told you, I think I like to crush up saltines. And I do that instead. And I think that's great. I don't even add salt or anything at that point because, like, it's got enough of everything. So just throw it in a blender, get it all nice and fine, and toss your chicken in that, and at least in my opinion. So I was like, why are we buying Shake and Bake? Saltines aren't expensive. Well, more so than they used to be, but it isn't everything.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I mean, now that we're just like talking about food, I'm sitting here thinking about all these food dishes that I keep seeing. Like we've been trying to like try new things, you know, like try to expand some of our dishes and whatnot. And I saw this one. I'm sure this is a creation that people are more aware of, and I know I've seen it. I guess I've just never had a name for it and never really thought about it. It's one of those that you've probably seen in passing and you never think about it again. Mm-hmm. And I think it was called a chopped beef sandwich. Does that sound? It's very simple. Okay, all it seemed to be was ground beef, fried and chopped up in a pan, put onions, put salt, pepper, mix some cheese up in there, and get it all nice and cheesy. And then you just slide it into a hoagie bun, put some lettuce and tomato in there, and then bam.
Okay. I was just like looking it up to see. I was like, did maybe we call it something different or whatever? But yeah, like a brisket kind of.
Yeah, just I don't know. Seems simple enough. And I'm just like, well, goddamn, I could do that. You know, don't want to deal with a burger. You're just like, screw it. Just throw it in the pan and slop it together and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, there you go.
It all tastes the same. So,
but you want to braise it, I would imagine, a little bit so it's like softer, chopped up.
That is true. That is true.
You know.
Ooh, okay, so I did try something new. As far as this is not a culinary dish per se, but more of a spirit that I imbibed because I thought it would be interesting. Sounded interesting. So there is a whiskey that I have tried that I think is now my all-time new favorite whiskey.
Ooh, do tell.
Okay. It's called Whistle Pig.
Yes.
And it's a rye whiskey. So fucking good.
Yep.
Okay. I got a bottle of that because I'd been, it was a moment where I wanted to kind of explore different types. You know what I mean? Because I think obviously your go-tos, your basic go-tos like Jack or Jim Beam or something like that.
Well, if you're wanting to sip, I Jack or Jim Beam, in my opinion, is to mix. Personally, yeah. I mean, if you sip it, you do you. But there's just something about it where I'm just like, it needs a Coke or something.
They do, yeah. And I was trying to find something that's a sipping, something that you can just take neat on the rocks. And I was like, all right, so I started exploring. Bushmills was one that I tried early on. They have cheaper stuff and then they have more high grade. Yeah, I've tried like multiple levels. It's good stuff. I would say fairly inexpensive, decent whiskey that you can get. And it's an Irish whiskey, I think that one was.
Yeah.
And then
I think you're right.
Bounced around to a few others and eventually got to Whistle Pig and I was like, let's try that one. Rye, get the rye whiskey and try that. And I was like, I was sold.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. Like I even tried this other one that I had been looking for called Bear Fight. And that one was interesting because I've had 2 bottles and each time I had a different flavor that stood out. As weird as that is, it was like the first one that I got. It had like the peat smoke flavor that was really prominent.
Sure.
And then the second bottle, it almost had like a fig flavor. As weird as that, yeah. I think part of that was actually one of the ingredients that they had put in it or something like that. But that's what stood out to me, and I thought that was really interesting. So I don't know if I would consider that one my all-time go-to, but I do enjoy it. Like it's a unique flavor. Especially considering I got 2 different kinds.
Right.
Or 2 different flavors from 2 different bottles. That was amazing.
That's good, yeah.
But yeah, the Whistle Pig is phenomenal. And they had a new bottle of limited edition stuff called Camp Stock. That's what it was. Okay. And it's apparently some limited thing that they're doing with Solo Stove. Apparently that's how it was smoked or whatever is within the barrels or whatever. So I started looking into a lot of this. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And it's a wheat whiskey, so it's not a rye. So I was a little like, well, I'll still try it because it was Whistle Pig. And I didn't even know they had, like, they sell their own maple syrup that is aged in their whiskey barrels.
I don't think I knew that either. But I don't know when I look for syrup. I can't remember the last time I've bought any.
So as I was hearing about all this, and I got really interested in what I was reading and listening to, because I was also hearing ads about it on Conan, and I looked into it, and they had this recipe for a cocktail that was a s'mores cocktail using this new whiskey. And I was like, okay, let's see what it is. Yeah. It seems bizarre.
Sounds like a stomach ache, really.
It's the new Camp Stock whiskey, a shot of the maple syrup, their maple syrup.
Okay.
Some chocolate bitters.
Okay.
And then you put a toasted marshmallow on top as a garnish.
Oh, so it's just the one liquor. I thought there would be more.
I did too. I thought maybe like they would actually get like a chocolate liqueurs instead of bitters.
Yeah, like a cacao or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, not a cacao. You know what orange is kind of, but yeah. There's plenty of chocolate liqueurs that out there. Godiva has one too that's just really good. Oh,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you make like your own kind of like, white or black Russians, but mixing it up with like Godiva instead of like Kahlua or something for a slightly different flavor. So yeah, I'm thinking like you should have had that with the Godiva and instead of the bitters. And what with marshmallow?
Because the marshmallow as a garnish, it didn't do a lot for me.
Well, it would get in the way.
It felt like it was. It got in the way. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Now it's not like one of those shots where you used to well, I won't call what they were called, but they had like the whipped cream on top and you were supposed to take them without your hands, you look, those shots, would have whipped cream on top. But Smirnoff has a fluffed marshmallow vodka. So look, we've just kind of created our own different kind of White Russian-ish, if you will. No, okay, or dark, because I didn't add any cream of any kind, but
Well, no, that's cream.
It sounds good though, because they do vodka, chocolate, fine. It's like chocolate martinis, things like that. And then the whiskey.
Yeah.
I feel like we should try it, although it'd be an expensive first foray because you'd need all 3 liquors at least. But
true. But you can make a lot of them out of it.
Pinnacle has a cheaper one, I think. I feel like I had a marshmallow vodka at one point in time, but it probably turned my stomach because I couldn't really do like a lot of sweet stuff after a while. It's like you'll get drunk, but you're going to have a headache.
Sure, yeah.
There's so much sugar. That's why wine F's me up every time, I think. It's like, it's the best high, but oh my God, I'll get such a headache.
Yeah, I tried this little cocktail, and that was my consensus when I got to the end. I was like, one's enough. That was sweet enough, and I was like, yeah, I'm good.
A little after night. Dinner drink, then fine. Sure. Yeah. Have you ever had Angel's Envy? I feel like I've told you about that. It's more of I'm more of a bourbon fan. Like I lean towards the bourbon side of whiskeys or whatever, but it's not cheap, but it's not stupid. Like you could find it for like $40-$50. So if you're ever wanting to just kind of like treat yourself a little bit, but that's another one that I really like. And just over ice, hell, even without it, just like to sip on, something's really, really delicious about it. So I recommend that.
Okay.
Even though I don't really drink much anymore, it doesn't agree with me hardly at all.
I get it.
I'm so sad too, because like every once in a while, I would like a glass of wine or something like that. I think I've told you that. Like we'll go on our anniversary dinners the one time a year where I'll be like, let's order a bottle of Pinot Noir. We'll split that. Now, mind you, people, I eat. I don't just be like, I'm going to get a little salad. No, I might have the salad. I'm going to have the bread. I'm going to have steak. I'm going to have mashed potatoes. I'm going to have cake. Like there's going to be plenty of carbs and everything to absorb this liquor. And I'll still feel like garbage the next day off of 2 glasses of wine and 1 small port for an after dinner drink.
Sounds like you need that stuff that Philly D's been hawking.
I hear him hawking it. Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if that really does work, But what's interesting was like in my 20s, always got sick. In my 30s, it was on, bitches. I could put whatever in this system and I'd wake up the next day totally fine. A little tired. Sure. A little tired, but and then somewhere along the line, it went back to not even a little bit. So I just go, you know what? I'm going to just smoke a little bit here or there and call it a day. I don't need this in my life.
I mean, hey, Katrina and I have been kind of pulling back on our vices too, as far as a lot of that, because I don't drink nearly as much as I used to.
She's still in her heyday though. Go get it, girl.
But that's the thing. She doesn't really like. I rarely see her with a drink. She, when she does, not to say that she's a lush or anything like that, but it's like
you make
her biggest downfall. And this is I'm not trying to disparage her.
No,
just saying. I know this for a fact. Like energy drinks and Jaeger. If she starts in on that, you can forget it. She'll be gone. Like, because she'll lose it and keep drinking because you're not thinking, and then next thing you know, you're gone.
Well, it's because the energy drink is keeping you hyped while the alcohol is trying to bring you down. So many college kids have had heart attacks on shit like that, so she shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Don't let her do it. Well, you don't get to say what she does or doesn't do. But I'd be like, you know what? It's not healthy. I've heard about that. When I bartended was when it was huge Jaeger bombs. Like probably new, and then everyone was putting those damn Jaeger machines in the bar. I don't know. Well, you might know. You're from an area where I'm basically from, I would imagine. Like we had hole-in-the-wall bars, and that's where I worked at, out in the middle of fields. Yeah, it probably wasn't like safe, but I split up a few fights or I ran from a few because I didn't want to get hit, Like, I'm just the bartender. Leave me alone, But yeah. So people would sit there all night long, and then your heart just explodes. You've had like a 12-pack of, what is the one that they use for the Jaeger bomb? Why am I losing the name of it?
The Monster?
No.
Red Bull?
Yes, Red Bull.
Red Bull.
And then, of course, you always had to keep the sugar free for the ladies. Like, I'm like, you know what? At this point, with all the Jaeger you're drinking,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter at this point anymore. It really doesn't. But you do you, whatever makes you feel better about it, But yeah, oh God, that stuff.
Now, in saying that, I can't remember the last time she's ever gotten like super
Like hammered.
duper hammered on a Jaeger bomb. Like, and again, I don't remember the last time I've seen her with alcohol. Like, she'll have occasional, like if we get wine or something like that, occasional glass here and there. But beyond that, she doesn't. She hardly ever drinks. She used to vape all the time. She's cut that out.
Oh, good.
So
Good for you guys being healthier. I'm just trying to get by.
Trying to do what we
These
can.
days, I'm like, just get by. Let's do what you can. But yeah, okay. I would do that. But yeah, Jaeger bombs. Ugh. Anybody who could do Jaeger at all, hats off to you, I guess, because that stuff's not good. Or at least it wasn't for me. I don't like black licorice, though.
It's a preferred taste. Yeah. For sure. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. We get those machines that would come out cold, and they're like, and I'm like, I guess. I don't want to drink anything out of a machine. Look. Nobody's really cleaning these things. Okay, they're not cleaning them that much. It's hard, and they probably don't get paid enough to really care. It's like the McDonald's milkshake machine. It's always broken, probably because nobody's cleaning that shit and all the sugar and everything. So imagine all that sugar just sitting in that machine.
Gross.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, though, it wouldn't stay full long, I wonder if it's still as popular. I can't remember the last time I've really gone bar hopping at night or something, so I don't even know if people are still doing them or what the new drink is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Gen Zers, are you drinkers? What do you drink now, I wonder? Maybe they're not drinkers. You don't know.
We don't know. But you know what they are? Oh, man, you just gave me such a segue because we're going to talk about this today.
And I don't want to be like we're knocking on anybody, okay?
No, all right. So I
think it's every generation's right.
I want you to understand what I'm saying. I want to try to make it very clear why I got upset about this, okay? So I know I talked to you about this, so I'm going to lay out a little context for our listeners here. So there was a story on the Philip DeFranco show, which is a new show that Lacey and I watch, and there was a study that found that it seemed Gen Z males feel targeted or ostracized, like they are the target of ridicule and whatever, and they feel targeted by everyone else in society, and they say it's because of social medias. They say movies and TV shows, and they feel underrepresented. Yada 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 yada. Whole bunch of things that just didn't register in my head. Yeah. As I'm hearing this. Right. Because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, I don't live your life, mind you, but what?
I don't. Yeah. I don't. So here's where I'm at with it. Because I was just like, as far as I'm concerned, as a Gen X male, I know I'm not in this category, but as a Gen X male, it's our turn. It's our fucking turn. Yeah. White males, get in line, baby, because everybody else has been made fun of and ridiculed, and guess what? It's our turn.
Your turn to get
ridiculed. If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Well,
how many times do you see it all the time where people are like, you can't make fun of this person, but you can make fun of white people, white males, straight white males, a category. I get it. But guess what? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
You want to make fun of me. You want to make fun because I'm white and I can't dance or that I
can't jump or whatever. All of it is.
That I'm white.
Yeah, can't help it.
Sure. Make fun. I don't care. But you know
fun
what?
Of everyone.
That's kind of where I'm at with it, too.
We've all got plenty of stuff. To pull from,
And look, I do want to at least stress, because there may be some Gen Z guys listening right now who feel this way. And I want you to understand what I'm saying, all right? I'm not going to say that your feelings aren't valid, but also understand why this is happening right now, okay? Who you are, if you were born 20 years ago, you would be in a much different mind space, I promise you. I promise you. Or you could be escalated on a whole different plane where you feel...
Well, isn't the people born 20 years ago who we're talking about, isn't that still like the tail end of Gen Z?
I guess.
Like when's the alpha cut off? I mean, I feel like we never even cared this much about generations until social media, if I'm honest. Because we knew the boomers and then... which was the only predefined generation ever.
Before.
Because we could literally see when they came home, when babies started booming, came home from war, started screwing their wives again. Here's a bunch of babies. Like, we can determine that without, But the rest of it where we're just kind of guessing where one starts and one stops and don't know what to do with. Why? I don't know. I just feel like it's a very much a 21st century problem.
For 100%.
Like even nobody cared about labeling my generation until 2004, 2005 or whatever, when all of a sudden I was told I was supposed to be a zillennial. That's what I am now. I've been tossed around so many freaking times. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was Y, then supposedly X, because they're like, well, no, like if you and then they're like, well, no, millennial, because then they started shoving that into the 70s, where I'm like, somebody born in 79 and 95, we don't have anything in common. Why would you even try to put them in the same, you know what I mean? Like a 20-year gap just seems large to me to try to make people relate.
I guess I meant within the 20 years, like if I was born in 1979 and someone was born in 1999, we're going to have completely different...
completely different upbringings.
Yeah. So that's what I meant by the 20-year gap. So if 20 years prior to when you were originally born, not 20 years from today.
Okay. I didn't know if we were talking about, but they have swallowed them in like that. So now the last I heard was I'm like a zillennial because I'm like in the half of both. And I'm like, just leave me alone.
Yeah, I would. But
I'm a nothing. I listen to what you say with millennials. I listen to what you say with X. I fell into a weird category of none of it. Look. Mine was just way too different. All right.
Well, it's funny
like, it
because
just didn't make sense.
It's like you said, there's that one section of kids, because Trina and I were talking about that the other day, because you see all these memes where it's like, if you don't know what this is, yeah, you weren't born before whatever the fuck. And it's like, I know what that is. And I wasn't born before that. So what are you talking about?
Right.
So
yeah, some of us like just still had all that stuff,
But there's this weird little cross section of these generations where some of the millennials that they're just like, well, they don't know what that is, but they do because they were born.
Do you remember how
there.
old millennials are? Like, that's the thing. I feel like we didn't really realize how old they are until like the pandemic, when they were still trying to blame them for being on spring break. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They're in their 40s looking for babysitters right now.
Yeah. It's the new...
You're looking at a different generation, right? I know you guys are so used to shitting on the millennials that's just any kid's now a millennial, but we're pretty old now.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
like,
that's a fact.
We're not the ones on spring break anymore, all right? We're crying in our ice cream, drinking heavily like the rest of the adults, okay? But yes, as you were saying,
white Gen Z males, you're going to have you, all this I'm a man talk that y'all are always going on about, because that's usually... There are some of these. The ones who are feeling targeted are these types. Or at least that's the vibe I got.
Some things are starting to make a little bit more sense. I'm not going to express what's going on in my head right now in public. We'll talk later. But I think I know what's going on there, maybe.
It's these types that are feeling targeted, like it's doing something to their manhood. It's just degrading them, and they feel targeted, and they feel misaligned. Like other people have in this country.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's all just coming around.
It's our turn.
Yeah.
And you know what?
It's like we're all just going to get bored at the wrong time. So some of us just get the shit end from something else left over that you had nothing to do with it.
But I guess here's the other part of it that I want to stress to these children. And you're a boy.
Young women, maybe.
You are young men. Very young men compared to some of us. If this is defining who you are, you really need to take a good hard look at who you are. Because this ridicule, this shit, are you a terrible male? Or are you a good person? If you're a good person, who the fuck cares what they're saying? Because you know who you are. Don't take this to heart. If you feel like you're a good person, you live a good life, and all the shit that's being said doesn't apply to you, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking worry about it.
It is hard to not feel like you're being attacked when you get thrown into a group, I guess, where it's like, even when I don't relate to it, a part of me goes, will you just lay off already? Like even when I heard that with the millennials, where I'm like, I know I wasn't doing it and that you're wrong, but will you just stop trying to blame us for everything at this point? Like,
well, no, I get that 100% because I've been thrown in that fuck all men category. And it's like, okay.
Yep.
And when I hear that, initially, it's just like, whatever. I roll it off. But yeah, I have been in that situation. You hear it enough. You're like, hey, God damn it.
Stop.
Some of us are okay. All right. I'm on your side, but you're going to make it harder for me not to be on your side.
Right.
And that's the other thing, too. Keep that shit in mind, okay? We've had private conversations, won't say about who or what or anything, where you are on someone's side, but they are continuing to say shit and do shit to a point where you're just like, I don't know if I can stand with you anymore, man. Like,
right.
I'm trying.
You went a little over the line, you know, where
I'm with you. I'm with you. Just what?
Just shh.
Yeah. What do I need to do, man? I don't know what more to do. And it's just,
there's always going to be those sect of people that I think there's never going to be enough. They'll I don't know. It just feels like, and again, this could be algorithms anymore. I never even know what is actually even true. Like, are people really feeling this way? Is this just good clickbait? Did you see one or two kids whining about it on TikTok? And now that's all of a sudden like the spokesperson for an entire generation. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. Are enough of them feeling that way? Because, like, okay, Eminem's new song, Houdini, right? Yeah. I was seeing all sorts of stuff about how Gen Z was supposedly wanting to cancel Eminem and, and then Xers and everybody are like, oh, this is hilarious. We remember when he tried to get canceled. And it's true. They tried to cancel him 20, 30 years ago. He's written songs about it. He's written songs about how they tried to shut him down. He's too controversial. And he says that shit just to get under your skin. He had an entire album about basically murdering his baby's mama in the trunk and talking to his daughter about it. Like, he's not well. Okay. That's not the goings on of a well man, in my opinion.
Sure.
But if it's just for shock value, but then you would go and, again, I don't know if it's real comments or fake comments. We're in a day and age too where YouTube has nothing but bots on everything, but then it'd be all these Gen Zers being like, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was fun. So I'm like, are people complaining, or did we find 2 or 3 and we latched onto that for the whole thing? Do they even care? Because I was supposedly supposed to be offended by so much more than I really ever was in my lifetime as well. And I'm like, so I'm wondering if it's just everyone's right. By the time you get into your 20s, all of us just have to shit on that generation. And then Z, your time will come.
Yeah,
you will have alpha here very shortly. Because are alphas even in their teens yet? They got to be, right? 10, 11, 12, maybe. Something like that. I guess I need to find out when that would be millennials' babies, right? Would be alpha.
Well, then, yeah, because then Calliope would...
Y'all are the ones who screwed up Z and we screwed up alpha.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Your oldest kids would be Z, right?
Yeah, they would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But yes, things will get harder than that. I wonder what it's like, though. I have to put myself in their shoes for just a moment. I've never been always online. Like, my life, I wasn't born always being told, like, what my generation was thinking or doing or acting or into or hobbies or, like, you just kind of did what your friend group did. And you weren't concerned with much more outside of that because that was what you knew. We weren't always 100% like... the world news and all, you cared about your block, your street, your family, which is what I think humans were built to care about.
Yeah. And it does make me curious why the invention of social media, hearing all the news online versus hearing it on a box every evening, why that changes our perspective. Is it because the news outlets were not sharing every bit of news around the world?
I think so. And it's just like, it's constant. It's like everyone's got to be the first. And so it's like you're just constantly barraged. Whereas like, at night, our parents would Well, mine anyway. My mom would probably watch maybe a little bit of the morning news when we were getting ready before she dropped me off at school. And then at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, the evening news. That was it. We didn't have like CNN or Fox on in the background all day long or whatever they came to be. Like, I know they weren't, I don't remember when like Fox and CNN became a channel. But anyway, you know, like it wasn't all the time. Or you had like Tom Brokaw, which we already talked about, that I used to supposedly have a crush on him when I was like 3 or 4 for whatever reason, you know, here, my Tommy. And I'd go sit there and watch the fucking night news because Tom Brokaw was on it. But yeah, this is Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw.
So I do wonder. That's all got to F with your head a little bit.
I guess.
I feel like I'm a little bit more about shit than I used to be because I'm like, it's in my eye holes now. But I don't know any of these people, so I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I guess I can understand what you mean because, I mean, I've had these realizations here lately and I don't even know what it is. I'm honestly starting to wonder if my brain is not trying to prepare me for some shit, as weird as that may be. But I just feel like I've been having these fleeting memories where it's almost like my brain time travels back to a very specific point in time. And I remember everything that I felt in that particular moment. Whatever it was. Like the other day I was at my parents' house and I got a whiff of something. And it just like transported me back to a child. And it just like hit me with emotions. And I'm like, what the fuck? Same, you know, just smelling the air a certain way takes me back to a summer. Or something like that. I don't know why this is happening, but it is kind of making me feel like I need to appreciate everything away from the technology. Like, I just get up in the morning. Like, I get up this morning, it feels amazing outside.
Yeah, we're like 64 right now. It was kind of
something like that, yeah. I just sit down outside and just take in the air and just like, this is what I want to do right now. I don't want to do anything else but just sit here taking the air.
I try to do that for myself first thing in the mornings too, because, well, my brain's always so full that I'm trying to go, hey, every once in a while, we don't need constant in your eyes, like trying to train my brain a little bit, you know? So I'll go outside with my coffee, like you said. And I have to go one further because, you know, everything's wandering. So it's like, I'm actually making myself look at the flower and appreciate its color or this kind of thing. So I can try to make my brain be in a moment instead of, I feel like that's why life to me feels like it's probably going by too fast. Sure. Is because I'm not really in it in any moment, you know? So you got to slow down and try to be mindful, you know? So you can like remember this shit. Something to be said for that. And I hope like Zers and Alpha can like, I don't know. I feel like they might be the better ones with it, like Alpha, because they're born in it. It was always a thing since they were alive, you know? Part of me hopes that they would know how to work it better than we did.
100%. Like I on that very subject, I'm hoping that every generation going forward, and this is where I give them, I'm so grateful that they get to experience this because we didn't. And that is, they know that it's okay to understand your emotions. You know, you can cry if you need to cry. You can be open about shit. You don't have to bury it. You don't have to just suck it up because someone says you got to. You don't have to just be a man or just be a woman. Like there's no like box that everyone has to fit into. Like, so go back to the Gen Zers who think that they're being ridiculed. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. If and I'm not saying this is something for everybody. From an experience, okay? The very first time that I ever remember crying from joy was seeing my daughter, Jade, for the very first time. Like, holding her in my arms, I cried with joy. Never, ever have felt that before. Because nothing had made me that happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she brought me that joy. And I don't know how to describe it, but I wasn't embarrassed by it, you know? No, and that's what I want to say. If it's coming naturally to you, don't be embarrassed by it. Your body's telling you this is how you need to feel right now. Yeah. Just go with it, man. So I'm grateful that they are growing up in a world where we're trying to talk about mental health. We're trying to talk about these things. And
Absolutely.
hopefully, like when Calliope gets 20s and so on, that her generation, they're just like, that's the way it is. It's okay to understand that we have mental health problems. We can talk about it, and hopefully it just gets better and better and better. I understand that there are some hurdles that hopefully go away soon.
Yeah, some people have a little bit more of it on hard mode than others. Yeah.
But I really hope that for the generations going forward, because we're having these conversations, we are just now like, my God, can you think about it? Where we would be right now had we grown up in their shoes,
Dude.
to a degree, because I'm so afraid to say if we could have grown up like them, I feel like we would be more broken in some ways.
Yeah, you never know how we would have gone, for sure. Like, part of me is a little jealous because, like, you know, all of the things that I've been learning about myself now over the last year, I'm like, oh my God, if we would have caught that so much sooner, how much different would my life be? Would I be much more successful, more motivated, more, you know, if any of it had been addressed, if I had understood anything that was going on, you know? So I hope for them that it is, you know, and you catch that stuff early and you don't have to go on hard mode for that long, you know? And it's always going to be a struggle, but I think I don't know, for me, knowing made a huge difference. It's like, okay, something I can't control. Now I'll put in stop guards that help me be like the rest of y'all or some shit where, you know.
It's that right there. Yeah. Knowing. Okay. That
Don't self-report because you did something one day that was kind of silly. That doesn't mean your whole life was that way.
No. But,
you know, but
to have a therapist work you through it, listen to your problems and say, all right, so based on what you're telling me, based on the information we're gathering, here's what we're assessing. Here's what may be wrong with you, or this is absolutely what's wrong with you. Once you have an understanding of that, oh my God, it changes everything.
It really does.
How many, and I've probably preached this so many times on this podcast or the previous one, how many times I was told, you know, by people who didn't know any better, who didn't know, they're just like, you have anger problems. You got anger problems. I didn't have anger problems. I had anxiety problems that caused the anger. So these people were just fueling the anxiety, which would then trigger the anger. And
because it's not something they see.
Right.
They see your reaction.
Yeah.
They have no idea what's building up in here, you know?
And so...
Yeah, no, I get that. I was always just very emotional and supposedly it's just selfish and couldn't handle things.
And that
was what I was told.
Absolutely unfair, you know, because, when you get labeled that shit, you believe it. You're just like, I got anger problems. What do I do? What do I do? Because I didn't know. I was like, I don't want to be angry.
Right.
You know, I can't help it. But, you know, shit happens. And I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know why it was happening. But then you talk to a therapist, it's like, okay, so here's the things that you need to understand. Here's why this is happening. And once I had all this information, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so many things just came into focus. And I've been able to control it ever since, or at least keep it managed.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's still bruised.
Oh, sure. And it's probably something you're always going to do. Like, even now, I feel like when I get triggered, I think I calm down a little quicker. I don't think the intensity of what I'm feeling in the moment is ever any better. All I can hope for is that I can not be that way for the rest of the evening.
Sure.
Basically, like, once I'm fucking triggered, then it's like my whole day is shot. Like, let's make it an hour or something. Like, just try to work my way down. So it's just how it is. And then we just learn how to do people things. I don't know. And I would hate to say it's wrong too, because that is one thing that the therapist was trying to get us to, like, or me to say differently. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just different. It's just something different that unfortunately the world wasn't, like, set up for. You know, like, we didn't make rules or learning abilities or anything for what I have.
See,
fine.
That is a beautiful way to describe different.
It's never just different.
But that's a much better term. I've never thought about that, because when you say wrong is a bad thing.
Yeah, that's like, you automatically think something about you needs to be fixed. I can't fix this. This is how I am.
Yeah, and For anybody else in that same situation, this is who you are. Okay,
it's just different.
There may be pills to tweak some of that.
Some people might need other things, to help keep them on track, and that is also okay. You didn't do that to yourself. It's not in your control. You can learn to control it.
Exactly. You are not the problem. It's how you are hardwired, man.
Yeah.
I can't.
We were just dealt a different hand, and
I watched, there's a YouTube channel that I follow called, I think it's Okay to Be Smart. That's what it is. And it's like sponsored by PBS. And they did a story, or they did a video, I think a few weeks ago, that as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm in. I need to know. Because it was like why do we have adverse reactions to certain sounds? So talked about like
I might need to watch this.
nails on the chalkboard and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah. Because I knew they were going to talk like that, but I was like other sounds, like very, they kind of went through the gamut where they were just like talking about, obviously certain sounds like, microphone feedback or something like that. Everybody has that. No one wants to hear. It's like, cause it's almost comes off like it's a danger sense. Your body's sitting there saying your ears are hurting, cover them. That's what you got to do. So they tried to use that same information in studies for other sounds. Like, why is it that someone smacking their lips, may disgust you?
Yes.
And
oh my God.
To some degree, I think they said it has this, triggers a disgust in you, which then goes to like disease, things like that, where you're just like, that's disgusting to me. So then that triggers my fear of disease, which triggers this, which triggers that. And it's like, nope, I don't want it. So has something to do with these responses to, things here.
Yeah.
So something subconscious as to why we kind of get into those. I'll share the video if I can remember.
Yeah, you should. Like, our bodies are really good at like trying to protect ourselves. So we may not understand why the reaction, but your body knew, or at least felt like that's what it needed to do to protect you in that moment, even though you might feel like it's torturing you. And it might be. You might just be like, it's a little off on how the reaction is. Again, you're just different or whatever. But
no, I did. Like, we've talked about that too. I know I've talked about that guy that drives me up the wall with his goddamn noises in the office. And I was curious about the very specific reaction of just like instantaneous rage. And they covered it. They were like, yeah, it happens. And it's a response your brain is having because there's something about that noise it just does not like.
Oh yeah, as soon as you said smacking, like, I instantly went back to this woman that I used to work with who sucked on hard candies. Oh my God, I had to walk away from her. She was like, she just couldn't do it quietly. Even when she ate, when we'd eat like pre-shift meals together, it was like she's grazing or something, and I'm like, I can't. How do you I couldn't eat with her. I couldn't, she was just on my nerves for a lot of reasons. So this was just kind of like, and of course she's also gross when she, it was like one of those where it's like, and of course you would be this way too.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I thought about it, I was just like, there's something in my ear that just like, it tingles or something. And I'm like, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And I have to walk away from her.
Yep. No, I get that.
I should have told her why. Cause I'm like, all of us were kind of like, when she would come around with one, we'd all look at each other like, we all knew.
But how can you not just put it in your mouth and suck on it quietly in your mouth?
I mean, with the stuff that I've learned about myself, I don't know. Apparently, we can do a lot of things that we just have no freaking clue that it's happening, or we're doing it wrong, or, we're very blissfully unaware sometimes. And it has to be brought to your attention sometimes to do it. Yeah. Like, I was telling you the story earlier with me and the shapes.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Oh, well, the power of sight should have fixed that one, but here we are, I guess. Yeah. What's next? What do I do now? So nowadays, all the stuff I used to say, now that I'm learning this about me, I'm like, you know what, though? I don't know. I can't even judge it anymore, because I'm like, the amount of stupid stuff that I've seen that I've managed to do without even realizing. I'm like, well, who knows? Who knows? But I guess smacking noises doesn't get on her nerves.
I guess not. I mean,
or she could just tune it out because it's in her own head. I don't know.
It's got to be because it's in her, like, she's doing it. It's one of those things, like, if you're the one doing it, it doesn't bother you, but if it's...
Like, if you're tapping your own pen or something, you know, and then somebody else is like, oh my God, you've got to stop that. But for some reason, it was, like, calming you. Like, I've been playing with this the whole time. I've been so good about not clicking it. God, do I want to click it, you know? But I'm like, no, nope,
go ahead.
Play with it.
Give it a few clicks. Go.
Oh, it does feel nice when you do it.
Yeah.
Something about it, because it's one of those really good gel clicky pens too, where it's just like, it's that satisfying. I don't know, guys. There's somebody out there who's got to understand that just satisfying click and the way it just glides so nicely across the paper, where you're just like, like you're gonna be sad when I'm out of ink, and it's so close.
Do you have like a little OCD thing with pens? Because I feel like I have one, and I've realized that I do it, and I don't. It's involuntary. Like, I cannot help it. But anytime I have a pen in my hand and I go to write, if it's a clicker pen and it's already clicked out, I have to unclick it, then click it back out to write. For whatever reason, my brain will not let me just start writing again. I have to click it, and then I can write. Like, I have to. Otherwise, it's not going to write.
I might pay attention to it now, because I don't know.
And I don't know why I do it, but I've realized I do it. And I was like, I have to click it.
Your brain's like, this isn't working until I click it. That's how a clicky pen works. I click it and then I write. I don't know.
Literally think that's what it is. Like, my brain's just like, no, we have to click it. We have to.
But it has to be those like really nice, like, I don't even know if it's the gel ones where it's like the roller ball where you could just feel it's gliding, because those like sharper ones where it feels like I'm kind of dragging it, like I can't do it anymore. Something about it just feels wrong, where I'm like tearing up the paper or something. I don't know. Very sensory, me with pens.
I get
like,
it.
This is the one I want, and I will keep looking around until I find that pen. Like, that's how badly I would prefer to write with it, that I would just not.
Get you one with a felt tip.
I know all these kids are probably going, what do you mean writing it down? Aren't you just putting it in like a notes app? Like, look, I try that too. And I forget the notes app is there.
I do.
Because it's not in my face.
I use them all. I have notes apps. I have little sticky notes. I have it's whatever is convenient in the moment. Yep. Whatever works.
Yeah, I've got sticky notes that I slap up everywhere. The sticky notes app on my computer is great. That's what I do at work the whole time. I have one running sticky and then my check notes. Because even though I'm done with the thing that I've done a billion times and I'm pretty sure I did it right, I know I better go check off my thing because I might have missed something, because I do that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I got one for you. I got something I wanted to bring up for you, because this was something that I think Katrina had found a TikTok video. And she showed me this, and I got such a kick out of it because I was like, Christ, that is hilarious. And I think you'll appreciate it since you're a fan of the series, which is The Sims.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Apparently.
Are you going to show it to me?
Well, it's audio. So you know how there's the Simlish language that we don't really know what they're saying, but they're talking. Some guy found out that if you speak in Japanese, but with a Valley Girl accent, it sounds like Simlish.
I could believe that.
So I pulled up some just so I can try to emulate this. And I'm going to try to put on my best Valley Girl accent. Okay.
That's nailing it.
Okay, so Batsude ikimasu.
Yes.
Restaurant sushi o tebemasu.
He's not wrong so far, whoever came up with this.
11時寝ます. Nihon ni ikimasu. Okay.
No, I even see the gestures that the Sims would be making as they're saying it.
誰が来ますか?
This is great. No, whoever that nailed it.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I was like, as soon as he started doing it, I was like, son of a bitch.
Good job, dude.
That is pretty good. Ano
yeah.
oki kognoko ware dare desu ka?
Desuka is how I would kind of see it. Like, gesturing. Like, this is really good. Yeah. Well, what's hello in Japanese?
Well, that depends.
Or like a greeting, I guess, if I were to just walk up to you and be like, hey.
Hajimemashite.
That does sound like it. Yeah.
Hajime
But they
Masu.
actually have the 2 words though for like hello or whatever. It's like sul.
Susu.
SUL.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
So,
they're-
at least I know that one's the same one. So there might be an actual like language now if people actually tried to dissect Simlish, even though we would just be giving each Simlish a word, you know.
I'm
But-
sure that someone out there has
Oh.
tried to translate this like Klingon or some shit and has.
Oh yeah, there are people who speak Klingon.
I know.
Like it's crazy. Good for you guys. Like but put it on an actual language.
Place. Kaimono ni ite.
I can see that as them like whispering
Yeah.
in someone's ear.
Kaimono go ni ite.
That's great.
Okay. So yeah,
hats off to that person.
I had to bring that up because I thought you would appreciate it because of the Sims connection and just bizarre stuff.
It's great. No, I like when you show me those different TikTok videos because I don't have TikTok, and I think I'm just gonna try to go the rest of my life without ever having it at this point. And I just live vicariously through the things you send me because that's probably the only things I would want to look at on there anyway. And then yeah,
I try to send you stuff that I find amusing, and I find that I think you would also find amusing. So I try to limit because I see some garbage on there. You know, not everything's up my alley. And then
there's so much stuff on there. Of course, there's going to be garbage.
So there was a new thing that I just discovered on there. Like they'll show you different things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is taking these really round, I'm assuming it's just metal balls, and heating them up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius, and then dropping them onto random items. And watching
to see if it like melts through or whatever.
Oh, it melts through. It's just how it reacts. That's the fun part. So it, I think he stuck it in a jar of honey was one. It sinks to the bottom, goes to the side, starts bubbling up like slime out of Ghostbusters. The jar starts bouncing.
Wow.
It cracks the side, still bubbling, and then eventually the whole jar is bubbling. Jar's cracked. I mean, it's insane.
Wow. Science is cool.
Just random little things like that. Dropped it in some slime. You know, like the goopy slime that we all used to play with. It just sinks to the bottom. It's just making these.
And see, now that's funny.
Yeah.
And now we have fart noises.
And that's what we were sitting there thinking. It was like, why is this guy not recording all of this audio? I mean, he's got like sounds for days.
Yeah, just keep using it, man. Keep using it.
He even put it, I was trying to remember what he put it in specifically. It was a liquid, but it wasn't like a slime. But it bubbled like the cauldrons you see in like the old Halloween, you know, witch movies and stuff like that, where the bubbling cauldron. That's what it looked like it was doing. It's like.
Oh, fun.
So I don't know. It's that's a fun TikTok video thing to do. And then there was another one. This is all ASMR stuff, I guess. It's like
I can't do that.
like
ASMR.
a bit. Well, no, different type of ASMR. ASMR in the sense of there's a satisfying element to it. So there's this other video
like
where
you're actually listening to the thing do the
or just
thing.
watching. Like there's something
Okay.
satisfying about just watching it. Like the other one that shows up was like a, what do you call it? There's a term I'm looking for. It smashes stuff. It's a smasher. God,
I'm, like,
come
trying
on,
to
brain.
Remember what we were talking about? Chopper. What?
No, like
Smasher.
like something that just comes down and smashes it.
Like a crusher, like a
I
can
guess,
crusher.
Yeah.
Or
like this is a big, whatever this is that they're using. It's like a big, weighty.
like it crushes cars, like that big, or
I didn't see it crush a car, but I mean it whatever it's crushing, there's no resistance to it. Like it's crushing that shit without resistance, no matter how big it was. That shit's going down. So it's got a lot of weight behind it. So these things, they'll have like, I think it was like a pile of marshmallows. It comes down and then the weight or the crusher has holes out of it. So it just sprays out like the marshmallows in these thin white lines. And I think there was a can. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a tin can it crushed and it just went straight down. Like it didn't bend or anything. Like it was the most flat crush you've ever seen in your life.
satisfying.
That was satisfying. It's like, oh my God.
So yeah, I'll watch like pottery videos. Now this is one that I could sit there and watch them do this forever too, for whatever reason. But like when you throw the clay on the bat's what we're throwing it on the wheel. So once you're done and you've removed your piece, there's always like some clay in the center that's staying stuck after you wire it off. Mm-hmm. And then when you take them all over to like the sink with a little scraper and just how it comes off so nice and easy, and you see the clay kind of fold, there's just something so satisfying about seeing it just like slide off the middle when you're doing that it's just like, like I want to keep them all on there so I can do it all at the end, where I'm just like, oh God, this is so great. But I can watch videos of people doing that. Just scraping the clay off the center of the bat. I'm like, this is great. But this is my ASMR.
But yeah, there's just so, I don't know. There was another one that showed up last night as I was kind of thumbing through, and it was some guy taking like an old model car that was all rusted and everything, and he, I guess, doing like power brushing or something like that, getting all the rust out of it, and then repainting, respraying everything, just doing a restoration on it. And there's something satisfying about that too, you know, just the whole cleaning process. I think that's what does it, is just watching everything go from like very dirty to just clean.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh God, look at you. And the motivation to do it. Like, look at you guys. Look at you go. Yeah, I do like those little like do-it-yourselfer kind of stuff too. 'Cause sometimes like people are pretty ingenious.
Yeah.
On like how they fix things or put it together. Now, just the fact they came up with it sometimes just impresses the hell out of me. You know? I'm just like, damn, good job. I would have never even, I mean, I don't do that type of work. So I try to give myself a little credit. Like maybe if I built houses or something, I would have come up with that solution. Like, I don't know. But have you ever watched, there's some channels too that they like either building their home out of like shipping containers or just like building their own out in the middle of the woods. Now I can watch those like and pretend that I could do that.
Sure, we all can.
Build my own house. I feel like I've watched it enough now where I'm like, I could build my own little cabin in the woods. Yeah.
Why not?
I could do that and grow my own food.
I mean, with shipping containers, why not? I mean, I feel like you could make some really awesome forts with that stuff.
Some people have made them really cool because it's almost like a trailer. Yeah. It's like you see this tin can, but when you go inside, you're like, oh my God. Have you ever stepped in a trailer like that where you're like, oh my God, this is really nice? Mm-hmm. You know, like you have it in your head, like what a trailer living is supposed to be or whatever. Maybe we don't think that anymore. I don't know. Back in my day.
Yeah.
I was always like those trailer trash people or whatever. But yeah, you'd walk in. I'm like, oh my God, I want a trailer.
Yeah.
This is nicer than any real home I've been in, you know, and this could be moved, which what makes it sound unsafe.
True, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, the shipping container. So people are really ingenious with that, or even watching the people with the tiny homes, like make so much extra space in these really small, like 500 square feet, 200 square feet, like they live in New York and this is the biggest apartment they could get, you know, it's like they're sleeping in the ceiling. Yeah. Like they figured out how to like make some sort of thing that their bed can go on top of. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are genius. And I'm just expulsive everywhere. Like I get so jealous of people who like organize things and it looks so great. I'm like, look at you. I want that gene so hard.
Yeah.
But I know where my stuff is. Yes, my hat belongs on that spot on the floor. I will not find it if you move it from that spot on the floor. And I am not even lying to you.
I know what you mean. I
have
it. Things that have spots. If it moves, so help me God.
If it moves, it no longer exists is the problem until I run into it again. Oh yeah, I did have that. It's just gone.
If I notice it's
I might
missing.
think of it later.
No, if I notice it's missing, that's when I like red flags. Like, where is it?
Where did it go? And then I'm breaking down because if it's not in the first two places I look, it's gone forever.
Yep.
And then I have to get my husband to be like, you've got to find. And he takes like 2 minutes and finds it. And I'm just like, son of a.
Great example. And I fucking knew this was going to happen, okay? So months ago, I bought these little nail hook, like very specific hooks for the wall to mount posters and stuff like that, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, they got the way it's structured, it's like a little hook with a nail and everything, and it's supposed to just add the extra weight capacity or something like that so it can hang something and sit flat on the wall. Very good stuff. And I was like, all right, so I bought that, meant for all my posters that I wanted to hang up, right? one day when I was ready to go, they just disappeared. And I was like, what the shit? And I looked and I looked and I looked everywhere. They never left my office. That's what made me mad. As I was like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
And I looked and looked and I couldn't find them. I was like, screw it. I guess I'll just buy new ones because I don't know where these are. So I bought new ones. And just the other day, I found the pack of the other ones. They were in my office, in the closet somehow. That's the part I don't understand is how they wound up in my closet. So I was just like, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I always find things after the fact. But I've caved.
And I did. I said those very words. I said, I will find them before I use these others. You watch. And sure enough.
I don't know why things happen that way, but yeah. So, okay. This is like new news.
Okay.
And let's see, have you heard of, and everyone's grown, don't like put this in the title or anything because I don't want to be like I'm farming off of this content or whatever because I really don't want to step in the middle of it. But have you heard of, and all the things I know about this person's kind of against my will, which is why I find this hilarious, Nikocado Avocado. Have you heard of him?
Nikocado Avocado. No, I have not.
Yes. Okay, so I know him because like everyone keeps making content about this man. So he's been on YouTube, I guess, for like a decade or some crap. I don't know. But he's a mukbanger where like they eat food on screen. And so when he first started off, because I've seen videos that people have shown from like when he first started off, he's just this like real skinny kid, played violin really well and started these mukbang streams. Well, unfortunately, he ate so poorly and did all this for so long, he gained an insane amount of weight. Like he got himself up to like 250 pounds or whatever. Mm. And then he kind of got overly dramatic and like was causing all of this havoc. Cause I mean, I felt like he was having a breakdown. Like this poor guy, at least that's how it looked like to me from like the clips people are showing me. I'm like, it looks like he's having a mental breakdown. Like he needs to step away, you know, and get himself straight. But, so over the course of the last couple of years or whatever, you know, he still is putting out content and everything. And even just the other day, somebody made like some long documentary about him. Right. So like they just keep talking about like this guy's spiral, you know, and like, so like yesterday or the day before. So this will date us, I guess, for like when we recorded this. But he comes out with a video. He lost all of the weight. Think of this a second. He had enough recorded in the backlog with him overweight. He was still putting out content of him at that weight this entire time.
Damn.
Nobody had a freaking clue. This was the most crazy experiment I've seen someone do and kind of like, oh my God, I never even followed you. But this was like the most amazing thing, like to be able to keep that secret and keep posting regular. Like he had that much of a backlog that he could record this one video, take off his mask and show him looking as skinny as he did when he first started. I was like, this is genius.
Yeah.
Genius. Like he played everybody who was making this content about. I'm not even joking. 2 or 3 days before, just saw a long documentary somebody else put out about his spiral and how everybody was hoping he would just go become a Chad and come back and be this great violinist because apparently he was like stupid good at the violin. Yeah. Like very well regarded in whatever genre of music he was playing. But then I was sad when I saw him going back to mukbang. I'm like, don't do it to yourself again. He's eating noodles on screen, but he says this time he's going to do it like how mukbang was supposed to be, where you're literally just wanting to eat with somebody. Okay. Like, I think that's how it started, was just like you would have dinner with whoever was, you know, doing this video or whatever. And you felt like you were having dinner with someone. So he's like, says he's not going to overeat or do any of these like horrible. So we'll see. But my God, dude, what a bamboozle to be able to keep putting out content for 2 years while you're secretly losing the weight so you could have this kind of reveal. Hats off to you, Nikocado. I never watched your content, but I respect the shit out of that. Sorry, that's a pretty cool experiment to play. Because imagine being him, watching people still making videos about him being like super overweight and losing his mind. Yeah. And he might still be a little crazy. I don't know. Or he's just a very emotional human. I don't know. Like we're all takes all kinds. But I'm just so impressed. To be able to bamboozle the internet for that long, like none of his friends that he was around would have been like, had slipped that he'd been losing this weight or anything like that, you know, like just how we never found out. And people were still keeping him relevant that whole time.
Yeah.
Just to come out and do that. I would go back, like if I were you, just watch the one video, like, and it was almost kind of creepy because he did some monologue that he had done like word for word, like I don't even know however many years ago, which I didn't know because somebody played it side by side. Like he had memorized this monologue that he had spout off when he was still overweight. And then did it again. And he's saying, it's almost kind of too dramatic where he's like, I've made myself the villain. And he does like this dark look into the camera for like an uncomfortable, like 10 seconds, maybe, you know, where it's like, so he might still be a little strange, but teach their own. But I don't know. I just thought that was fucking crazy as shit that he was able to keep putting out new content at that weight up until like, you know, 2 days later. And then all of a sudden he's just 250 pounds less.
Especially, and no one spoiled it for you.
That's that.
Because, like, who did you cut off in your life to make sure no one spoiled this shit?
Right? That's what I'm wondering. Or, like, if he's well off, maybe paying people to keep their mouths shut or something. I don't know. Because I feel like all these YouTubers are that, like, get all these views. They're just, like, freaking millionaires. Like, I kick myself for not being a YouTuber when it was new. Not that I would have made it, you know. I was that conceited, thinking, if I would have just gone in it at the right time, you know, like.
I mean,
hell, it would have happened either way. But
I was on this platform when it first started, and I guess I wasn't doing the right kind of content.
Oh, yeah. I never uploaded anything until it was like already well into its whatever it was doing, you know. But anyway, yeah, I just, good for you, Nikocado Avocado. Good for you.
Nikocado.
I do like the name. I think it's cute. Yeah.
Trying to say it.
I just love the name. But yeah, so just good for you, man. Good for you. And I hope you keep it off. Please don't start shoving a bunch of pizza back in your face. If you want to, then fine. He just looks so much happier.
No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, just like you're getting around a lot better. I don't know. He looks happier. I'm not trying to shame nobody, but it's just, you can tell he's like, ugh. I hate to say it like the turn of phrase, but this huge weight off his back, like literally, you know.
Yeah.
I could. Well, I mean, you know, you've lost a considerable amount of weight in your life. Like, well, I've lost weight like that, but I was young, so it's like once I got a growth spurt and everything, I kind of like leveled out a little bit, and then I've always kind of just stayed at the same weight. Like I'll bounce around 10, 15 pounds back and forth or whatever. But I don't know what that's like to be overweight and then to just lose so much of it, like how your body has to feel. I could just only imagine it's got to, like, your joints feel better. I don't know. I just feel like you've got to feel better.
It won't seem evident at first, but then when you think back to a time where you were bigger and certain things weren't going a certain way, you notice differences. It takes some time because you're in it every day. You don't, I mean, hell, even when I was looking in the mirror.
It's all incremental.
Yeah. Looking in the mirror every day, I was like, I could see it on the scale, but in the mirror, still looked the same guy. Like, I literally took a picture the day I started that journey and was like, I'm going to remember this.
Yeah.
So I can look back and see that picture and be like, I see a difference there, but in the mirror is a little harder because my brain's just like, nah.
Well, you're seeing it every day too. Yeah.
You're still that big fucking piece of shit you were then. And, you know, how your brain likes to.
How your brain loves to motivate you somehow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm protecting you by calling you garbage. Don't you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, good.
Speaking of garbage, I got one. This is another thing my brain did for me yesterday because it got absolutely no reason I should have gotten this nervous watching a fucking TV show.
Oh, okay.
But I just decided there was a show that came on Amazon Prime that I noticed, and I thought, you know what? I haven't watched a good game show in a while. I want to check this out. It's called The 1%. Patton Oswalt. I don't know if you've seen it advertised.
I think I've watched one. Yeah. You know me. I'll give any game show a shot at least once. Yeah.
We decided to watch the first episode last night, just see what it was about. And as soon as I got started, man, I got so fucking in my head. Because I wanted to prove I was intelligent, like I had something to prove. And I'm just like, but no one is here but me and Katrina. And so no one's going to know.
You will know, and so will Katrina. And she can sing your praises.
But she won't care.
She goes
if
to work like, my man is so smart. He did,
But at the same time, she's not going to care if I got it wrong.
Well, that's fair.
But I will care.
Yeah.
I did good.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I got
But
to.
why were you nervous, though?
I don't know. I
didn't know if there was like a question where you were like, oh, God, do I really know this? And
But
then you got nervous
that was
or
every
something.
question. That was every question. You look at it and you'd immediately just freeze. And it would be over the dumbest shit because you're just like, why am I getting, why?
Yeah.
I'm looking at,
I don't know.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm
Yeah.
just like what was the very first question was a picture of a balloon, a hot air balloon over a lake, which is the actual picture and which one is doctored or changed or something like that.
I think I remembered seeing that. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that one was like, all right, B. Automatically, you could see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my nerves went down just a little. It's like, all right, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second question was something easy, but again, the anxiety goes right back up. It's like, oh, all right.
It's just the confidence in yourself to know whether you're right or wrong.
Are you confident? And I got, as it continued to go up, it would just be so more and more, and I just get so, I've got to get it wrong.
See, but you had fun though, right?
I did have fun. I shouldn't have gotten so worked up over it.
But that's how I get with game shows, especially when I'm watching a good one. Like, I'm on the edge of my couch, I'm playing, and you stop talking to me.
And that's the funny thing about
he wants to chat sometimes, and I'm like, look, I understand this is just a game show, but I am playing it, and you are talking, and I can't hear the song.
Right.
You need to shut up. Shh. Just
I'm thinking.
Give me 20 minutes. I skip past all of the stuff where people are talking. I go straight to the competition. So this show's only going to be like 15 minutes long by the time I'm done with it. So shut up and let me hear the songs so I can name that song, name that tune.
Exactly.
I do like that show.
It is a fun show. I like it.
Hey, remember when I was complaining that they always had celebrities and they were garbage and we needed to put normies back on so I could actually see some competition?
Yeah.
With like real stakes because they could still play even if they got it wrong because it was always for charity. They finally put the normies back on and it's been so much more fun. Thank you. I'm going to pretend you all listened to the pod and heard this, that I was saying how garbage it was to just only do celebrities because there's no stakes involved and they don't care.
Yeah, what's the show that they've been doing the celebrity? Was it they brought back Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And that had
Did
celebrities? Yeah, because I saw like some clip and it had celebrities and Katrina looked at me, she was like, why the hell are they playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
It's always for charity. And like, look, every once in a while I find that fine. But if it's always for charity, to me, it's the fun of watching them compete.
Yeah.
There's no stakes when you're a millionaire or a billionaire at this point, even if you're playing for charity, it's like you want to, I'm sure like enough of them are good enough people that they want to earn as much money as they can for charity. But you can tell there's no real drive to get it right, you know?
I mean,
So like, yeah, because they got money. They could probably just donate that 70 grand they want and they'd be fine, you know?
And I'm sure that they're footing the bill on that just a little bit too.
And I feel like it's more expensive having the celebrities on too, because you're always giving money.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. So like, and I feel like you're always taking some home as the normie anyway from the other two rounds, because if anybody, okay, I'm going to say this. So if anybody watches Name That Tune, the first round is usually just, it's pointless. Like you win some money, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. When you get to the second round, because it's like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, like you earned $3,000 in the first round. This person, like it really depends who wins the second round because the stakes are just so much higher. The value is so much more that you're winning. So it's like I consider the first one just kind of a throwaway warm up round, But I think they would still get to take that couple of grand home. I don't remember them saying like you just go back to zero, because when you get to the Name That Tune with the piano portion, when they play you 10 notes, they actually give you a hint first, and sometimes I guess it off the hint. And then you can tell when somebody else thought they got it off the hint too, because then they're like, I can name it in one note. And they're like, oh, it's just, to me, I love it because the audience is always just like, oh, and they'll cut to cuts of people like gasping, like it's all so dramatic. I'm like, oh my God, it's just so much fun. Like it's just so stupid. I don't know that people would really react that way, but I don't know. Maybe I would get caught up in the audience there too. I'm like, we're just going to play. Let's go. And
Sure.
I'm gasping. I'm going along with it, And so if they do or don't get it, it's just more fun. But I still need someone to win the final round. I thought normies would bring it back, and they are doing better. But still haven't seen anyone get the golden round yet, where you have to name, I think it's 6 songs in 30 seconds for the ultimate prize, for the big prize. But if you lose one, you stop, unless you were a celebrity, and then they let you keep going, because it wasn't fine or whatever. But I think I could do it. I feel like I could do it until I start listening to it and go, I know all of these songs, and I have no clue what their name is. Like it's just, I go through my life knowing all of these songs. I don't know who sings it or what it's called or anything. Like I know the song. Unless you're getting like classic 70s rock, I might have a little bit better of a time. But like when we're getting into like the 90s and 2000s pop, it's like, I know these songs. I went clubbing, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Like when you play Usher, it's like, oh, I know that song. I used to go to the club, but what's it called? And then my husband's like, what's the one called where he's going, yeah? And I'm like, I think it's literally called Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, boom, 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 yeah, or whatever.
I don't know that one.
I think you have. It's just when I'm singing it, it's not right. Okay. But I guarantee you had to have heard it.
I may have.
Because it's like, there's Little John in it. It's like, yeah, and then woo. It's just like a bunch of just one word.
Yeah,
I think it's from like 2000 or something. I don't know, but I think it's literally just called Yeah. It's definitely a club song,
okay.
And as soon as you've heard it, you'll go, okay, no, I've heard that song.
All right,
but but yeah, we would always make fun of it because when it would come on, like that's what him and I'll do. We'll just go yeah, woo, It's like, and now we know the whole song. Okay. Because that's as deep as the lyrics got back in the day, or whatever liquor was pouring from whatever bottle in the club.
Yeah, you got a 4-tune beat. You got it on repeat, and you just sing over yeah, boom, 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 yeah.
You're welcome for all of you at home who now has that song stuck in your head.
If I find it, I'm sticking it in here, so everybody's got it in their head right now.
Yeah. I want to send it to you right now because I know you're going to hear it and go, oh my God, you're right. But anyway, or if you had it, then congratulations that you've made it this long.
You reminded me of something, that I did not have jotted down, but I want to bring this up because it's driving me up the wall.
Oh, okay.
I'm having some serious Mandela effect shit happening, okay?
Okay.
On occasion, when I'm listening to music at work, if I don't have anything specific that I'm looking for, I'll, on the app that I use, they'll have like a quick picks thing. I guess it's songs that maybe I've been listening to a lot here recently. And it's like, here's some of the few that you've listened to recently. Just tap on that and it'll kick off a new playlist. Okay. It'll be start with that song and then whatever else.
Yeah. Like it'll try to match the genre or something.
Yeah. So sometimes, I'll start with that and I'll do that. And then I do that on occasion because maybe I want to see if it'll throw in something new.
Yeah. And the smart shuffle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see if it'll discover something I haven't heard or maybe it's not been passed through my ears recently and I'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that song. So the other day, it put this song in front of me from a band called Saint Motel. Never heard of it. Okay. And the song was called A Good Song Never Dies. And I was like, okay, let's give it a spin. Starts playing. Catchy fucking beat. And I'm sitting there. And then it has a hook. And the hook sounded so familiar. And I was like, have I heard this before? And then I just continued to listen. And I just bang, bang, bang. And I get to the end and I was like, I've heard this before. Where have I heard this before? And I'm thinking of shit like John Wick or something like that I feel like it might fit in with. So I start looking it up. Nowhere. It's
like they
been
didn't even
on...
steal the hook from an older song, because I feel like that's what ends up happening to me is then I'll find an older song that had like that tune or something and I go, that's probably why.
I didn't see anything that indicated that. It contained a hook. I did a little bit of research. I may have to look into that because that might be it. But I don't know that for certain. I didn't see anything that indicated as such, but I looked on various websites to find movies, games, TV shows, anything that it may have been in. Nothing. And it came out in 2020. Like that's when the album dropped that it's on.
Oh, wow.
So it's fairly new. but it has not been on anything that I personally have seen or played. So I'm at a loss why I know this song, because my brain is saying you have heard this somewhere, but I don't know where. And I've had another instance, and I can't remember this one for some reason right offhand, but something very similar where I know I've seen a thing or done a thing, and I have no proof, but I know I did. I'm not crazy.
I've had those moments, and it feels weird where it's just like, I don't even know how to explain how it feels right now. It's just something strange in here telling me this happened and that I had to have.
But it's literally like something in the timeline changed somewhere, and my memories are just... Because that's what I was trying to remember. There was a time travel movie that tried to describe deja vu as... Or not deja vu, but the Mandela effect. Mm-hmm. It's like when you remember some shit...
But isn't it when you're remembering it, but like everyone remembers it wrong? Or am I not understanding what the Mandela effect is? Okay.
Like
how we all... said, "Hold me closer, Tony Danza." Like, or we all knew that, but it was wrong.
Sinbad was Kazam or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we all were just like, yeah. So maybe I'm not using that term correctly, but in my head, it's, this thing existed. Yeah. I believe it existed, and now I have no proof that it did, or that I had ever heard this prior to this moment, even though I'm very convinced. My brain is like, you did.
No,
I know you did. I've heard this before.
Interesting.
And it did sound familiar. That's the weird fucking part. I know I've heard that tune.
I bet if we did more digging, that might be the case. Like,
that's the only thing that would make any sense.
Because even I feel like the songs that I thought were brand new when I was growing up, a lot of the times I bet my mom was like, "Oh, that's cute," and she would play a song that was like, "This is where it came from," and it would be like the same hook or something, and you're like, "Oh my God, we keep ripping it off." Because, well, I'll even go back to Houdini. Like, because since we just talked about that hook was like from some song in the 70s or something. The abracadabra, you know, and I was like, why does that sound kind of familiar, you know? And then somebody finally had like put up that other song because they had, you know, knew what the name of the other song was, where I just couldn't, even though it was probably just abracadabra, like just something as simple as that. Who
did sing that song? Because I remember that song very vividly, but I can't remember who sings it. Abracadabra, I'm gonna reach out and grab you.
Yeah.
Is that Hall & Oates?
And then he just calls it, but yeah, I think it's I'll reach out and grab you, but his is I'll reach in my bag, bruh, or something like that for his bag of tricks, you know, so his...
so who sang that?
That's what I'm trying to... Steve Miller Band? Really?
Steve Miller, okay. Huh.
Some band that I freaking know. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know why I would have never put it that it was Steve Miller Band. Interesting. Okay, well, there you go. Supposedly, according to the Googles, I was going to listen to it for just a quick second.
Damn, bro.
Nope, this is definitely it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there you go.
Okay, sorry.
Ooh, and even the video, they're like juggling fire and all this stuff. Ooh, maybe I should go back and watch this video. But yeah, so there you go. All things old or new again.
Speaking of which, the last few things I want to talk about real quick, kind of about our show, and figured we'd talk about the 2 episodes, or at least the 2 that we can remember that we lost when we first started.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody might remember the lost episodes from the hard drive that took a shit.
Yeah, this happened pretty much when we first started.
It was early.
Recording. Yeah, because it was maybe like the 4th or 5th episode, I think, is when we had already recorded several.
Right.
In the bank.
We were all so happy we were ahead of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I feel like we lost more than just the 2. I feel like there was another one, but we can't seem to remember what it was.
Yeah, I feel like there was 3, but I know 2 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we had talked about, we figured we'd talk about them because we don't know if we'll ever come back around to them, and it just doesn't seem like it's in the cards.
And we wanted to talk about it clearly because we made 2 whole episodes on it, or 1 each. Yeah.
But one was, I think this is your topic. It was depowering superheroes.
Yeah. And how I hated the trope.
Yeah, because it was about pretty much like in Spider-Man 2 when Peter just suddenly loses his powers for no fucking reason. You're just like, well, what happened? Now, granted, in the story, we understand that for him, it's more like a mental block. Like it's a psychological thing as to why he's losing his powers. It makes sense in the context. But as you're pointing out, they do it out of convenience in some other movies, and it just is like, well,
I just feel like they can't think of anything better to do because they've already made this person so overpowered or whatever that they're like, the only way we can have drama is if we take it away. And I hate that so much. And mostly, and I think I've said this before too, when we were talking about video games on how would you even make a Superman video game or something, you know, since he's basically God or whatever. But I'm not watching these things to see some general human struggle bus. Like, I'm doing that in my life. I'm watching this because you have superhuman strength or super feats that is cool to watch. So when you're taking it away from them, I'm just watching another boring human try to muddle their way through life and figure out, like, no, that's not what I came here for. I didn't fire up Superman to play Superman as Clark Kent. What? No. So, yeah, my argument was you've got to try harder. I don't know. There's got to be other better ways introducing a bigger, better monster. I don't even care if you've got to come up with, you know, some other villain or something or anything that's not just taking their power away for the sake of convenience.
Yeah. And that's why I don't feel like a Superman game would be that difficult if they would just lean into it, because all you have to do is give all your enemies kryptonite-based weapons.
Well,
I mean,
even that, I would say you don't even have to worry about that. Just make a better villain that would actually make it harder for Superman to beat. You don't have to even take away his power with kryptonite. I just feel like
they do have those villains who can do that, you know? That's the whole purpose of having a rogues gallery.
And then it was like, even in Superman 2, we had all of them coming down, you know, and it, you know, I mean, they still kind of depowered him some, of course, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But like, it didn't have to be that way. We could have just seen this amazing fight. Like, Invincible. Like, they haven't done that. They just made bigger enemies, and it's been great. They put them to a whole other fucking planet. Fine.
Oh, and you haven't even seen the worst of it yet.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one. Like, but it's just, I'm really tired of everybody taking so long in between seasons. Look. I'm not on board with this new way of releasing shows. I have no clue what happened anymore by the time you finally get back around to doing it. What is this 2 years in between a 10 episode season? Guys, look, I will forget it exists. I just saw the other day that the vampire interview with the vampire show that I liked on HBO actually had a whole second season and has been signed on for a third. I had no freaking clue because it was 2 years ago I watched the shit and I didn't even know it came back out. So now I could go back and find it. Now it's on AMC and I'm trying to remember. I feel like it was on HBO when I watched it the first time because I didn't have AMC.
They may have cut a deal with AMC to show it, because now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like there was an AMC deal with Max where they could show some of their programming. Well, but not all of it.
That could have been another reason why I didn't see it, because now it wasn't on a service that I had. And even with Hulu, I don't think it has all of that.
No.
Like I knew, I don't even think they had all of that anyway. But my point was, it had been so long that it was like I just accidentally, while Googling something else, saw that Interview with the Vampire had gotten a whole other season. It was already out and they were signed on for the third. And I'm like, well, and I liked the show. Mm-hmm. It was the first time they had done one that was a little bit different. It wasn't rehashing the same Anne Rice books that we've seen over and over again. They actually picked it up like 20 years after what we knew in Interview with the Vampire, going back to that same vampire and interviewing him then and going over his life. And I found that interesting because we hadn't seen that angle. And I feel like you could have even brought back Christian Slater. Like, he's 20 years older than he would have been, you know. Wasn't he the journalist, right, that did the interview? Wasn't it Slater?
It's been a while.
It has.
He may have been. I just don't remember.
I mean, I guess you wanted to do your own thing because it's definitely a different actor that they cast as Lestat and Louis. Is that his name?
I don't remember. That sounds right, but I can't swear to it.
The one that was like the actual, like the bigger vampire, I guess, of the two, whatever you want to call him. But it was so interesting as he was kind of telling his life, how he lived with, you know what? I'm in front of a computer right now. What was the name of them? Was it Lestat and Louis?
Perhaps.
I think that's right. But like even the way they wrote their kind of like, I don't know if it was supposed to be like a love story or whatever between those two. Yeah, Lestat and Louis. Okay. So the vampire, obviously. So Lestat was the one they were talking about. So they were interviewing Louis as like the love and going through how, I don't know, it's kind of a beautiful way to do it. I don't know. I mean, Lestat is definitely out of his mind and very over controlling. And maybe I'm doing that stupid thing women do where we're like, but he's so misunderstood. You know, like for some reason we do that shit. I don't know, which is another thing we should probably talk about on the pod ones because I keep seeing all of these like, some dude the other day, I just saw it like on Court TV or something. Like he's on trial for murder. He murdered like 2 women. But apparently enough of the internet thinks he's hot that they're trying to get him out of going to prison. Like they're all like writing him letters and like, oh, he's so misunderstood. And like, as I started kind of looking back on things, they did the same thing when like the Jeffrey Dahmer show came out on Netflix where they were like, oh my God, but he's so cute and good looking. And it's like all of a sudden there's this certain sect of people who's like as good looking as they are. All of a sudden trumps they murdered someone.
Yeah.
He murdered 2 women. He could kill you. What about that is turning you on? You know, and like, I don't know, is it the bad boy about it all, you know, that like draws some women in or whatever? But like to have a fanfic about it, fine. Do whatever you want in your little fantasies, write your books, do whatever. In real life, though, guys, he doesn't deserve to get out of prison just because he's cute to you. And I've seen that even when the TV show You, because they're all like, oh, he's just misunderstood, but look at how cute he was. Penn Badgley, the actor playing the man, was like, but you shouldn't be attracted to him. He is a stalker who's murdering people. But they're all online like, oh my God, but if he would just stalk me, it would be great. Oh my God, just do that. And you know what, though? In my own little fantasy, it's kind of hot. Sure, I'll watch it. I don't want someone actually stalking me.
Yeah. I mean, that's something maybe you do with your husband, and that's a little fantasy y'all have.
You do you. Yeah. Like, that's fine. Or like I said, read whatever fan fiction or whatever movie plays into it or whatever. But when you're like legitimately trying to change real world because you just think he's just too cute to go to jail. Like the people who was murdered, their families are going to be like, oh, well, just let him go. He's so cute.
But see, okay. Hear me out. I'm not trying to say this is a...
I know, we totally strayed from superpowers, but I don't even know how we got here.
I feel like that's a slippery slope, man.
Invincible. I was following you,
because if you like that, you can't sit there and scream rape later.
Like, yeah, like if you're okay, if in this situation he actually got out of prison because you all did that and he did something to you later, it's kind of like, well, he showed you who he was. Yeah, so he shouldn't have got out. Like, I don't know.
I don't want it to sound like I'm saying you asked for it. Okay,
sure,
that's what I'm trying to say.
It's like, I know there's no way to like really say that kindly, where it's like almost. We don't want it to happen to you, but would you be surprised if it did? I don't know. You're right. There's no good way to say that without somebody writing me an angry tweet. So, so when you depower a superhero,
and you know, there is an anime that actually tackles this idea, which I found fascinating. It's called One Punch Man, and it's about this
I've heard
guy.
Of that. Yeah. My husband, I think, watched it.
He lives in this world where there are heroes, and this guy wants to be a superhero, so he starts doing this training regimen, like 100 push-ups a day, and I think there were some laps he had to run every day, just like a real intense kind of workout. And then suddenly he was so fucking strong that he could beat any enemy with one punch, and they have never strayed from that.
Good.
Like no matter who the fucking enemy is, bam, shoo, they're done.
Nice. Fun.
And I'm just like, good, because like you said, you're writing this whole thing about this guy being so super powered, and the irony of the whole thing is no one pays any attention to him. Like he'll come in and wipe the floor, and people are just like, who was that? I don't know. And it's just like,
fun.
What the shit? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting take and approach on the material, and I think it's supposed to be getting a 3rd season, and I've heard rumblings of a movie. So
oh, good. Yeah.
should a decent movie come out, maybe it's something you could.
And hopefully whoever's making that movie doesn't F it up and try to go depower him or something.
Could happen because
you get some writer who's like, I don't know how to make this interesting for a full hour and a half or 4 hours because you feel like it needs to be 4 hours for whatever reason.
But if they say that's the problem, then they're missing the entire point because the anime and the manga have been doing it.
Yeah.
They wrote this specifically for that very purpose. We understand he's super fucking powered, but we're going to write around that and how to make it interesting because it's not about that. That's secondary if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's all about the character and everything happening around him. So I don't know. Yeah.
But
Invincible.
I think they're doing it well as long as they don't depower any of them. And like even when you see, I'm not going to remember their names, but the son, when he's getting like his ass handed to him because of his dad. Okay, I could believe that. His dad would be stronger. He's had more experience. He knows how to wield his power better, all this kind of stuff. His kid's still young,
And equal playing fields, too. I mean, like when all the Viltrumites come back, because we're going to see more of them. I mean, they're going to beat their ass. They're Superman. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And you can believe it. And you didn't have to take away his to make it dramatic.
Exactly.
So that's my point. It's like we could make these things interesting. And I think a lot of them just fall into that trap too of other like superhero movies where they just feel like they've got to recycle the same enemies. So that's why you're not really seeing anything new, but there's an arsenal in all of these superheroes, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a single superhero movie we've seen where there's not like probably 20 more enemies that they could have pulled from, but they keep pulling from the same ones. So that's why it's not fun anymore. Give them a different villain that's more interesting, that might take a little bit different of an angle to take down.
And I think that's the fear that they have is they think if they don't get a villain that people recognize or that they know, that no one will want to come see it. But I think if you write it properly and interesting, because you could probably take the worst villain imaginable and make them interesting if you tried.
Yeah.
Because who's going to be fucking mad if you botch the kangaroo from Spider-Man? Who the fuck knows who the fuck that is? Nobody.
Right. But
so just do something with it.
In the defense, too, like people are going to watch a Batman movie.
Yeah.
People are going to
100%.
watch a Spider-Man movie. Like there's certain ones that it's just a given. You make the movie, they're going to come. Somebody's like, my husband's so into Batman. He will watch your Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you do it good, he might watch it a lot more, but he'll watch your Batman movie. So I feel like you're not even giving the fans of the work enough credit to like go see it. Like even someone like me who doesn't read the comics, I think they're fun. I'll go see a Batman movie because I think Batman movies are fun. And so far, they've all been fairly good with a few exceptions, we can point to a few. Sorry, Clooney, you weren't it, but
he knows,
and he knows. Yes, and he knows. That whole movie was just doomed from the get go. There really wasn't one redeeming piece of it. It's the first time I saw my friend fall asleep in a theater.
It's the first time I walked out of a theater feeling utter disappointment.
Oh God! Like halfway through, I just remember going, "Is this over yet?" Like I've never remembered feeling sitting in the theater going, "This has just got to wrap it up." Wrap it up. And it was probably only like an hour and a half, but it felt like 5. I don't know. How long was it? It was probably long.
It was probably close to 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, then that was still normal movie territory, about 2 hours. But okay, yeah. So not good. That one. That's the only one I could really think of that was awful, though.
Well,
because that was a standalone, right? With Clooney, like he never did it again. He only did the one, right?
Batman Forever's starting to wear on my nerves a little bit. Like the last time I watched it, I was like, "This is not all that good."
Is it just because you've seen it a lot, or?
I don't know. I think I'm just losing patience for it. Like there's something about it that's starting to wear on me every time I watch it now. I'm just like, I don't care for it.
Yeah. Maybe
and then,
you just had your day with it.
Yeah. And as much as I want to try and like Affleck, I can't.
I don't mind his Batman either. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority of that, but I think I just liked it because we were seeing like an older Batman for a change. Like I felt like we were seeing the same portion of his life over and over and over and over. That was kind of nice to see him a different stage. I don't know.
It's not him that I have a problem with. It's the movies themselves. It's the narrative in which they're stuck in. Henry Cavill Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, I loved all of them. They were fine with the characters. It's the movies you were in and who was making them. Yes, I have a problem with Zack Snyder. Fuck off. I'm sorry. He is a hack.
I don't really know him. I just think he needs to stop making 12-hour movies. That's all.
Yeah. Did you see all the shit on Netflix he's doing?
I think I started hearing some of it. Yeah.
Rebel
I
Moon.
Won't be.
Okay.
Which
Rebel
one?
Moon.
Rebel Moon. Oh, yes.
This is the name of the project that he's doing right now, okay? Released, to my understanding, I haven't watched it and I'm not going to, released a 2.5-hour movie, to my understanding, PG-13, on Netflix. This was his movie that he was
Oh, wait, I
targeted
think
to
I
make.
had heard about this. Go ahead. Yeah.
That was essentially a hodgepodge of all these other movies put together. That's what I've heard. Like pieces of this movie, that movie, that movie, and just assembling characters is all this movie was assembling characters. But guess what? They just released a 3.5-hour director's cut of the same movie. Now it's R-rated. So now you get extra. But why didn't you release that to begin with? Because you're the fucking director, asshole.
Honestly, every time I've seen director's cuts, I can totally understand why it was cut from the movie. Because it didn't offer anything and it was boring. So why are we all so excited to watch like director's cuts? Like there's reasons a lot of the times why all those scenes didn't make it in. And now you're torturing me with it for another hour?
If it makes sense to put it in,
They would
sure.
have.
But
then they would have put it in the other version.
You think so, yeah. But again, to my understanding, this is it went from PG-13 to R. So now
it's all sex scenes.
But you're on Netflix. This isn't going to theaters. So who are you targeting this to?
I mean, some people like it, I guess. But like, look, I'm not against a sex scene. I just never see the point. Like, it doesn't help plot ever.
But my point is, the reason they go to PG-13 in theaters is because they're just like, we can get more money because we can get the teenagers and all that shit. So why have a PG-13 cut and then an R-rated cut on Netflix? 2 different times. Like,
was
why?
it 2 different months it released? Like,
yes.
they were trying to keep you for another month. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Like, maybe people who signed up for just that month. Oh, well, now we got to stay another month because Zach released more of the movie or whatever.
And he's doing the same thing with the second one.
Maybe it's all going to his head from the whole Zach's released the Zach cut because of the whole, what the hell is his name? What's his name?
Snyder.
No, the
Snyder
other guy
cut.
who directed the other version that took over when Snyder quit the first time.
Oh, James Gunn.
No.
Who are you talking about? Joss Whedon?
Yes. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
Joss Whedon. That's who I was trying to think of. Because I was
Okay,
like,
so you're
didn't he
talking about
direct
Justice
the
League.
other version after Snyder quit and then like changed basically everything or whatever?
Yeah,
shot the whole movie or something? Yeah. Okay. So that's who I was trying to think of. But him.
Gotcha. Whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've gone way off topic of whatever the fuck we were talking about.
Well, it
with
was
the
still
D-Power.
kind of superhero, I guess. But that's just how we roll. I don't know. But yes, so I hate the trope. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. And I feel like if we can't think of a better way to make it interesting, then it's okay to not make the thing.
Now, I wanna go back and correct myself. The more I'm sitting here pondering in my head, I feel like they did depower Mark for a moment in Invincible, but you haven't gotten to that arc yet. And I'm trying to remember.
They do in the comics.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember specifically why they did it.
Well, maybe they'll do it in the series. Because I got a beef with them. I think that's why I started it, because like when we were talking about like the seasons taking forever, like that, like they're on my biggest shit list for this because, we went so long during the Rona and everything. It kind of made sense to me. Like everything was just taking longer because all of our lives were taking longer. Right. But like, when they released the first half of the second season and then intentionally waited months to release the second half, like one of the things I read was to give us time to absorb it. Are you talking down to us? Like we couldn't understand the first half of your superhero? It's not that deep.
Yeah, no,
it's not that deep. Like I didn't need 4 extra months to ponder. And it was like, so we got 3 episodes after 2 years, 3 years. You wait another several months. I'm honestly like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to care if you keep dragging this out. And then now it's going to
Fair.
be probably another year or so before we see the next season. You know, like I hate this. You don't have to spend $1 billion. Like, can we just go back to, you had your nice little half-hour episodes, 20 or so for the season, wrap, go away for the summer, and come back or something. Like, I don't know. I just think 2 years is just ridiculous.
It is a little extreme because we were talking about the other day. I mean, it was like, what, 20 some odd episodes every season for
20
a show.
to 24. And I know this was like your, on a stage kind of like sitcom or whatever. So I know they were nowhere near as expensive to make until you got to Friends territory where everyone was making $1 million an episode, but like.
But if you're filming everything on a sound stage, on a void, like you've seen those goddamn things where they got the
like
big
they're in a
screen
big
behind them.
warehouse or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I get that you're also like shooting very high quality like movies each week. Like I get the quality has changed and all that kind of stuff. I still don't think it takes you 2 years. Like I'd even be okay with 10 to 14 episode seasons like they've been doing if you come back next year.
Yeah.
Like Apple is the most egregious for this that I've ever seen. If you look at all of their shows, every single one is like every 2 years, and it drives me bonkers. Morning show, 2 years in between everything. Severance, well, now it's going to be like 3 years, I think, by the time that one finally comes out, 4 years or whatever. Loot, 2 years in between. Maybe Ted Lasso is the only one that
it seemed, yeah,
it did each year, right?
Consistent.
Well, it was 3 seasons, so it wasn't.
I think there was at least 1 year there was an extended gap because I was waiting for it to come back and it just felt like it was taking an extra long time, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I think I got lucky that I was introduced to it shortly before the third one was about to release, so I got to kind of watch them fairly close together. But yeah, no, big beef with that. I don't enjoy that. I wish we would just tighten it up or wrap it up. I don't know. Because we're not even getting like long seasons anymore. Or shit's getting canceled when it's still good.
Yeah, like
I'm still very bitter about Quantum Leap. I'm so bitter. NBC, what the like, I'm so bitter. You have worse shows on that you keep renewing all the freaking time.
I agree.
I have to. Was the ratings that bad?
I don't think they were.
I can't make it make sense. You had it set up so well for a very interesting next season.
Mm-hmm.
Something we'd never seen. Yep. 2 leapers. Sorry, I spoiled it for a show that's dead. But
dead.
Yeah, they introduced 2 leapers. It would have been so cool. They could see each other. They could be together.
Co-leaping.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did you cut us off? I was so ready for that. The way they ended that last episode, and she went in and they stared at each other and walked over and could actually touch each other. I was like, oh my God, I'm here for this. It was like, the chick enough of me was just like, oh, the love story. This is like, because the whole time I'm like, I want those 2 together. I know why they can't be, but I still want them, Like I understood, but I was very, very much wanting them back together. I was like, they're so pretty together. They have a history. And
And what would be an interesting thought at this point too? Like you've got 2 people in there now, plus you've got a third leaper that is lost to time, if you think about it, with Sam.
Yeah, so yeah. And then the evil one.
And then the evil one. So you've got 4 people leaping through time, through other people's bodies. Don't you think at some point there's going to be a problem? Like with the space-time continuum that
There would have to be.
Something's going to be fracturing somewhere. So I feel like that's a thing they could address.
Especially since we could go in the future now, too. There was no place in time that Ben could not go. He was back in the 1800s. He went all the way into the future. Like, we didn't have it just stuck to his timeline.
Yeah.
They were making it so much more interesting and making it their own. I'm just so bitter. And I know the original Quantum Leap didn't get that much, but like, it got more than 2 seasons.
It did. It got 5.
Like, I don't know. And I'm not saying I was even looking for, I didn't even want them to bring Sam in, if I'm honest. Like, if he wanted to come back, great. And I remembered reading that they said that they had a plan if he wanted to, or a plan if he didn't. So,
and think about that. That's almost like the best way to do it. It's like, we're not concerned about it. We have a plan should this
and
ever.
We would love it if you want to.
We would love it. So we're going to put it over here. Our series is not contingent on it whatsoever. But if we can, It's going to be right here.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to poke him and be like, hey, say,
Yeah. But I don't blame him. Like he did his thing. He's probably well over it. And you don't have
Dean Stockwell.
yeah, like anymore. So I mean, if I were him, I'd probably be like, yeah, I kind of want to leave it where it is in my head. This nice ephemeral moment that I had. Because it was what it was. But yeah, man, I can't understand it. I feel like it couldn't have been doing that bad. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just hate it so much when you could tell they had no, they were not planning to cancel it. Like the last episode, 100%, they were planning on more. So we got cut in the middle.
I think, every fucking producer, man, they ought to plan for an ending, because I know you want to do that cliffhanger. That's how you hook people back in. But I'd go to the network and be like, "What are you thinking?"
Yeah,
that's what I'd be asking. I said, because I'm filming 2 endings right now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, for us, for the audience.
If you think we're coming back, if you're feeling good about it, I'm going to put this ending in. If you're not, then I'm putting that ending in. Mm-hmm. So tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't want to pay for both. Because isn't there something, too, if they cancel it after like 2 seasons, that there's like less they have to pay out or something? I don't know. I thought I was reading that somewhere, and it would make sense in Corporateville.
I feel like because a lot of shows, if they can reach a certain amount of number of episodes, they can go into syndication. So if a network can prevent that, they will.
Just whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I know it's not going to come back, but I'm still very bitter.
I don't see why it couldn't on other platforms, but I know NBC is going to be very...
Yeah. Well, you could have kept going. Just saying, NBC. Now you're going to be like ABC in my book, where it's just like, I'm not even going to bother to start anything new you put out, because I know you're just going to cut me off as soon as it gets good.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always wait. I mean, most of the time, I'm usually hesitant. At this
rate, you'd have to wait 5 years.
Yeah, true.
It's like, who's got time for that? I don't know. But I don't know. Did you want to run into Takeshi's Castle?
Yeah,
just for
we'll
a quick
do
here.
that too.
I know, guys,
because
we've gone on forever. But some of you guys like long stuff. You like it. You're sitting in your cars doing nothing, driving around. I don't know.
It's our special episode.
True.
So
50.
So our other episode that we lost, we were talking about Takeshi's Castle, and if you're unfamiliar with this, our American audience may be more familiar with it under a title that was called Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, that was on Spike TV. Mm-hmm. That was a
like an Americanized version,
comedic version of it, where they dubbed over and kind of recut material to make it more American. Like they
is like, it was already so big, you didn't have to do anything. Like, let us just watch how it was. My God, that's so different 100%. For us. Yeah.
Because the Takeshi's Castle that we're actually talking about, they did it was like a revival of the series in Japan, and then Amazon picked it up as an Amazon original. So they aired, was it like 6 hour-long episodes or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, 6 to 8, something like that. Yeah.
And it was like a whole new
with the original people, the
original
hosts,
people,
I should
say. Original hosts, new hosts. And then
some old contestants too.
Some old contestants.
Yeah.
And like they ran the gamut on this, and it was such a joy because we'd never gotten to see the show like this, because we were only familiar with the version that we were presented on Spike TV. Now this was how it was supposed to be, a legitimate contest with 100 people that would start, and then as each game progresses, they all kind of go this way or that way. Like there's a whole maze.
Yeah.
So everyone gets separated off into different games. They go and do those challenges, and then whoever survives by the end,
these are like big challenges. So think kind of like Wipeout, but like less silly. Like it's like an actual course that they're trying to run. Well, I mean, I don't even know if I should say less silly.
Very more challenging, I would say.
More challenging,
almost,
I guess, would
because
be
I would almost say borderline's cruel sometimes.
Oh, God. Yes.
Because you're just
especially
like,
back in the day. Because when we were because I think that was one of the things we were talking about, because the stark difference that I noticed between the two, especially when they were going back and forth, like when they had a contestant that was on 30 years ago and then today, where they would show a clip of that contestant competing before and then now, they had no helmet on, no gear whatsoever back in the 80s. They're just running across this shit in regular old shorts and tennis shoes. And then today they're in like helmets and elbow guards and all this kind of stuff. I'm just like, now that's what it felt like living in the 80s.
Yeah.
When you were still allowed to ride in the back of a pickup truck, and seatbelts weren't a thing. We didn't care, like it's just, I mean, I'm not saying it was good, but that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh my God. Like just how little we cared about our safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll be fine. And she's like running across like a little 2-inch wooden beam or something across water. And I'm like, oh my God, like how hurt you could have been slamming that into your face or something like that. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, there had to have been injuries. They did their damnedest not to show any.
Right.
But I mean, it seemed like that they took maybe slightly more extra precautions here, but still had the essence. Like it still did not seem super duper safe, but I wouldn't say it felt overly dangerous either. Like you could see that there were safety guards in place, but it was still kind of in essence the old Takeshi's Castle,
Yeah. It was like a lot of the same games and everything. So it was nice to see. Yeah.
And then they did some variations on some games, made some new ones. But yeah, seeing some of the old ones, the classics that you'd remember, that was so good. And then understanding how it actually worked. Because again, they butchered the game for Extreme Elimination Challenge. So here we actually got to understand the structure of how it works. So it's meant to be like you're invading this tower.
Yes. So I forgot. Yeah, there's like a story. Yeah.
Yeah, the feudal lords or whatever. So each, I think it was 2 episodes, it would be like full competitions of these 100 players over the course of 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So it would be like one feudal lord with 2 episodes, then another feudal lord, 2 episodes, and then the final.
Then they battle it out. Yeah.
And obviously now, if anyone is familiar with this at all, we talked about Beat Takeshi or Beat Kitano, depending on, I know there's a whole lot of different names he goes by in Japan, but the guy, Takeshi himself, he was in Battle Royale. We talked about him a few weeks back.
That's right. Yeah.
And then, of course, this is his thing. That's why I said it was so interesting to see him here or in
Battle Royale
because I'd known him from this.
Yeah.
And this is comedic, and that's what he's known
and
for,
like
is
slapstick comedic, guys. Like big, and then to take such a more serious role. But you could tell, like, he brought a little humor to that Battle Royale character for what you could bring to him to make him a little likable. Because even just the timing of some of his smart ass remarks was just like, okay, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, and you to just, especially when he was like kind of dying, where I was just like, it felt a little out of place for the movie, but like, I don't know. He just nailed it. Anyway, good actor, that man. Good actor is my point.
100%. Yeah. So what he brings to this, I mean, he's obviously much older now. It feels like
I think he's retired.
Yeah. I don't want to speak to his health. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like he's, he's up there in age. He's not getting around.
I don't think
like
he was super young when the show was on. 40s?
He did look like I'd say 30s. I wouldn't say that.
Well, that would still put him in his 60s now, but that's still, but anyway,
30s, 40s, whatever. Point being, I mean, he does show up, but they also kind of do this AI head thing of him. It's his voice.
Yes, yeah.
But it's some little joke thing that they kind of added in, but he does eventually show up. So if you were looking forward to him, again, I think a lot of it had to do with his age because he's not a spry chicken anymore,
No.
But it was at least good that we got to see him.
Yeah.
Plus some of the old original faces from the other game. But again, they popped up here and there. They weren't present throughout the whole thing, but it was still nice if you are familiar with the old show.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of fun. If you've got Amazon Prime, definitely check it out. It's a nice throwback. It is in Japanese. So if you've got a subtitle deficiency, I'm sorry, but
if you don't like reading it, then you're gonna have a bad time.
Like, I've been wanting to go back and rewatch it just because it's like I want them to do another season. I really, really do because I love this show. It's just so much fun. The whole competition, and then even the stories. of the character. Who's that one guy? Because we talked about him because they focused on this one dude. He was supposed to be like this super athlete who's done all these fucking strong men. He even had like a name. It was like Mr.
Yeah, they knew him. Like he's like a local celebrity or a country celebrity baby or something, but I didn't know who he was.
Like he had a very specific name, and I cannot remember for the life of me what it was, but it was something like
the
Mr.
tug of war-ish like type game when he was like, he's like against all the women or something like, because you know men and women teams, and they were doing tug of war over water or something. So he's on a platform all the way over here, and they're on the platform over there, and he got all smart ass. This is what I loved about it. He's like, let them all do it, you know. So he was going to have the entire female team do it, and they pulled him in the water.
Yeah. See, that was
like a little smart ass, unless you want it, you know.
But you have to understand, he had it coming because, again, they talked this dude up like he was the greatest fucking athlete ever. He had the fucking confidence like what? And then failed every single time.
I started to wonder if that's part of the joke. Like, are you guys trolling us right now? I don't know.
It's like, so you're serious? He's a super athlete, like the most athletic person. Are you sure?
Well, strong and athletic could be totally different too.
Mr. Sasuke. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Because there was Sasuke Jr. And we were like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was just like some other guy, not even related, but they just said he's Sasuke Jr.
Yeah.
But he was Mr. Sasuke.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, strong and athletic, I think, are two different things. Like, I still feel like those big bodybuilders and stuff like that, I doubt they do cardio. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
But I feel like they probably don't really do a lot of cardio because they want bulk.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. Maybe it was a case of that dude could bench a Buick, but he doesn't know how to keep himself balanced long enough to pull 6 women into the water on tug of war or something.
I guess.
I mean, if you think each of them are like 100 pounds, because they're all tiny women. I'm going to give them that much. They might even not even be that much. 600 pounds that he's pulling. I feel like he should have been able to do that. I don't know. I
mean, you should have known to plant your feet. And if you're going to say, all of you, you said, estimate. What do you think? 100 pounds each? That's a fair estimate. Mm-hmm. Okay. At bare minimum.
Give or take a little.
For a human body. Yeah. So
we're talking about tiny Japanese women. They probably didn't weigh much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So 600 pounds, while it's a lot and I couldn't pull it, I would expect that to be easy for some strong men.
Yeah.
You know, that's like pulling a semi or some shit. I don't know if they still do that or not, but I remember
probably
those.
Somewhere,
they would pull them and I'd be like, how in the hell? Yeah, they just got it strapped on to them and they're just like pulling this truck. I'm just like, oh my God, you guys.
You got it.
Like everything in my body tore watching you do that. It's like when I see someone do the splits, like my groin hurts the rest of the day. Like everything hurts. I'm just like, oh, everything tore. You shouldn't be able to do that. Human bodies shouldn't do that. I don't know. Maybe because I'm the least flexible human I know. So when I see anybody do anything like that, I'm like, oh God, how? Ew, don't do that.
Yeah. But no, definitely go check out that show if you can, if you're familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, I would love for you to go check it out just out of sheer curiosity, because I think you might enjoy it. It might be up your alley. It might be the thing that you've been missing in your life this whole time and you didn't realize it. Because it is a lot of fun.
It's a good time.
One more thing I wanted to bring up before we leave, and I know we're running a little long, but again, like I said, it's a special episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up some things. So last week, if you're listening to this today, or within the week of release.
To this today.
If you're listening to this today, which is today, the day that you're listening, because you are listening to it today if you're listening to this right now.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is if you're listening to this the week it came out.
Right now, you're creepy. What's going on? Anyway, sorry.
I understood. Thank you for calling it out, because that was a dumb thing to say. So if you're listening to this the week it came out,
there you go.
The episode. Last week, we had an episode that was covering Short Circuit. Okay? Now, I put a lot of extra effort into that episode, like I do certain ones. I don't do them all, but if I can put a little extra effort into it, you get movie clips, you get clips from other things. It's a whole fun thing to do. I'm going to stress that do not watch this on YouTube. Okay? Any other time, I would probably tell you to go watch on YouTube for number's sakes or whatever. do not watch these on YouTube. Go to Spotify.
Okay.
Because YouTube continues to fuck me over with these videos.
Is it that
Copyrights.
people or whatever?
Yeah, I understand. I understand the copyright mumbo jumbo. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got it. But I feel like you should be able to separate audio and video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't have the audio of the movie with the video that I'm showing.
That's probably why I see all these YouTubers when they're doing react stuff now. They even like invert the video or put like some sort of like rain effect over the top of it, like trying to
Probably.
mask the video itself. And it just seems like such a lot of work. I don't know.
Yeah. It doesn't, because even, I mean, if you take a look at our videos, I mean, I got the logo, I got the episode name, I got another logo over here. I mean, it's not enough. So I'm putting a lot of effort into these. I'm trying to make them entertaining so you're not just listening, so you're hearing. And I'm even going to throw this out. So next week's episode would have been, had I had the video for it, one of those, because we're talking about another movie next week. I won't say what.
Okay.
Because I'm going to keep it a secret for you.
Yeah, they keep wanting.
Yeah. Unless you're already next week and then you're just like, well, I know what it is. Right. But I wasn't able to find the video for it, so I couldn't put together my usual video. But I did put in a few audio clips and video clips here and there where I could. So there's a little bit, but not as extensive as Short Circuit.
And if it's the one I'm thinking of, that's an impressive feat, because some of the ones we're talking about lately, you can't find.
Yeah. So that one, like I said, I only found clips for that one. I was not able to find the full movie, so
yeah,
I was a little disappointed, but I found enough at least of what I wanted to find to put in some audio that I really wanted to share.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, one coming out in a few weeks from now, not necessarily a month, but close. It'll be in October. I'm working on that one right now, and I'm going to do something different, and I highly recommend if you're a fan of the show, that you go watch this, and only on Spotify. I'll say that right now. Only on Spotify. This will come out on the 7th of October. I can tell you that 100%. So you're aware.
Okay.
I'm doing, and I'm going to say, I'm going to put this out into the ether. I'm doing some extra animations for this episode. I'm not going to say much more than that, but I'm doing extra animations for this episode.
Fun. For the eyes. Treat for the eyes.
A treat for the eyes. So if you have never watched our show, this will be the one to watch. Okay? To watch.
10-7. Book it.
Yeah. Put it in your calendar. So
Put it in your notes app, kiddos. Or whatever.
You can still listen. Okay? It's not changing the audio portion of it. You can still listen. But if you'd like a treat for your eyes on top of what you're listening to, go over to Spotify and watch that version. Nice. That's all I'm going to say.
Beautiful. Okay? Can't wait.
All right.
Got this.
So that's our 50 episodes.
50. Thank you guys.
I'm glad that we
for listening.
Struggled, got here. But we did.
We got there, man. We got there.
Got there.
So I think we talked a couple of things that we wanted to, or that we had start off thinking we were going to.
There are at least two things that I didn't get to, but I'm okay with that. Like that's fine.
Oh no, I had stuff here too where I'm like, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the life of us two, and it's fine. Wouldn't have it any other way.
So, siblings, did you like our just random
hodgepodge of crap?
Yeah, because that's all we had.
Yeah.
Let us know if there were some other things you want us to talk about or elaborate on, or if you were offended or upset by anything that we shared.
Keep that
today.
to yourself.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know. I don't have the energy, people. I don't have the energy.
I've genuinely wondered if over the last few weeks, because of certain things that we've been watching and talking about, if we've maybe
lost a person or two. I don't know. Or gained a new fan. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody's
got to have something.
We've not said anything uncouth, I don't think.
But I usually don't know until someone tells
That's
me.
True.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I know, I guess.
I mean, the best way to look at it is
it's not intentional.
We're not meaning to be hateful. If it sounds like we're being hateful, that's not our intention. We're never intending to do that.
And I know your slang now, so I'll be able to tell. Because guys, the Gen Z slang, I am proficient. I can't
How
say
about
it.
this?
It doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth, but I know what it is. Some of it.
All those kids out there thinking our show is crispy, yo.
You glazing,
Whatever that
though.
is.
You glazing?
I guess. I don't know. So, siblings, do you think our show is crispy or glazing?
No, you're glazing the show.
Oh,
remember
I'm
how he
glazing
said
the
that?
show.
When you're just like, you're standing something so hard, you're glazing them.
Sure.
That's how the Zier explained it to me.
Okay.
After he told me what brain rot meant.
Siblings, let's do some.
Why are all the words leaving my brain right now?
I got nothing. All right, I'm just gonna no. The Gen Z's, it's ruining my brain. I can't talk. So social medias, super mega crash. Tell us things.
Yeah. Are we cooking?
Yeah. Teach us some slang. Let us be so cringy that we ruin your words. If there's a Gen Z word that you want to die, tell us what it is, and we will use it consistently as older people, and we will ruin it.
And they'll be like,
for
ew.
your generation.
Ew. Did you hear
How's
her
that?
say that? Did you hear her? Yeah. But you got to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We can do that for your generation.
We could do that for you. We'd be willing to do that for you.
Just on any social media platform, add us at Super Mega Crash. Just say at Super Mega Crash, and then put in the Gen Z term.
Yeah, like at Super Mega Crash, you're bussing.
And that's what you want us to ruin. So when we come back after reading it, we'll be like, yo, what up, Super Mega Crash, busting up in here. And people are like, oh my God, stop.
Yep.
So do that. Send us a whole list at supermegacrash@gmail.com. Support us over on Patreon. Leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. And keep up with any and all things over at pencilpaperproductions.com/supermegacrash. Links are in the show notes down below. Whew, join us again next week, siblings. But until then, stay Gucci and drip beyond your limits.
Slay.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.